and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So this verdict out in Portland, Antifa land, the other day, Andy No, sort of journalist now with Post Millennial, has been covering Antifa, wrote a book about it.
He's been attacked by Antifa
for many years, and it perhaps has been most on point. I mean, there's been some undercover work by Project Veritas as well, Rose City Antifa. That's the Portland outfit. So he got attacked. He almost got killed. Oh, that's right. Suffered some fairly serious injuries, and so he was able to identify two individuals who were responsible for the most severe injuries he suffered when he was attacked on the streets of Portland, and he brought a civil suit against them. And a jury rendered a verdict saying that the two individuals that No sued were not liable. So, kind of surprising given the video footage that we have that's public domain, given what was described in text messages between the two in terms of, establishing intent to do violence and so forth. Yet they were found not liable. Well, No and his attorney were on with Laura Ingraham the other night, providing a little bit more context to what occurred in that trial. And particularly, and this is incredible to me, particularly the closing argument of the defendant's attorney. So this is the Antifa people's attorney making her closing argument, and this is what No said she said and did.
It was in her closing statements. She mentioned that resistance is not peaceful, and that she was going to be getting a shirt that declares "I am Antifa," and that she is retiring and will remember all of the faces of the jurors. It was a very tense week with a near media blackout because of security incidents that kept happening. The jurors expressed to the court, who then expressed to the parties, that they were really afraid for their safety because of repeated incidents that were happening both in and outside of the courthouse. Before the deliberations, the court ordered that the identities of the jurors would be sealed because of apparent attempts to identify the identities of the jurors.
So not only do you have Antifa establishing its presence on the streets of Portland, including outside of the courthouse during this trial, you also have the defense attorney for these two knuckleheads who allegedly worked as Antifa doxers, identifying where enemies of Antifa live so they can go protest, beat them, whatever. You had a defense attorney threatening the jury in the presence of not only No's counsel, but also the judge. How does that occur?
Who the heck does he think he is?
She. How does that occur? How does a judge, if what No is saying is true, and I have every reason to believe it is, how does a judge let the defense attorney threaten the jury? I am Antifa. I'm retiring after this case. If essentially you don't return the right verdict, then you're next. Wow. We talk a lot these days about two systems of justice based on your political views. And so much of that, of course, is focused on Trump and these indictments. How about at the local level in a case like this? that puts more of an exclamation point on it than, well, as much of an exclamation point on it for me as it does indicting President Trump over these with these dubious legal claims. This is just a regular guy, citizen journalist. At least that's how he started. Now he's got a paying gig, and good for him. But a journalist, and where's the press? Where's the Fourth Estate rallying to the defense of Andy? No, a journalist gets attacked for covering Antifa, and then he goes to court just to recoup civil damages for injuries suffered. And a judge allows a defense attorney to threaten the jury to return the right verdict, and, lest they be reminded there's a bunch of goons outside protesting.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also reach us on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Well, the judge, why? I mean, is anybody going to question why the defense attorney wasn't thrown out?
This is the disintegration of America's cities that we're talking about. This is what it looks like. This is what it sounds like. You don't have a criminal justice system. You don't have a civil justice system in places like Portland or Cook County, for that matter. Andy Ngo's defense attorney gave additional context to the trial, the evidence, the jury's verdict, what the jury was facing.
The court did inform both parties of the day of deliberations that the jury was concerned that they were being threatened or potentially doxxed, or there was going to be some kind of repercussions if the verdict did not come out the right way here. And we all know what that means. The right way is finding that both of these defendants were not liable, despite the extensive evidence here that they were involved in this attack against Andy. The jury still found that they weren't liable. So we can really see what's going on here with the interruptions of the trial, with all of the concerns that the jurors expressed to the court, that this is not how our legal system is supposed to work. And there's some serious concerns.
I'd say 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636 DA, turnkey.pro text line. George in Naperville. Hey, George.
George.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it started with Judge Ito. Just let the courtroom, run wild, do what they want. No control.
The OJ trial, well,
Judge Ito kept a good, tight ship there.
I really don't want to relitigate the OJ trial,
on,
but
we have 4 hours.
The point here is that it's bigger than the judge. I mean, it certainly includes the judge if what is being reported is true, and as I said, I believe it is. But it's a city that's turned over to literally the mob. Remember, you had Ted Wheeler, the mayor of Portland, reelected, by the way. Of course he was.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be?
Having Antifa, the fascist, quote-unquote anti-fascist, doing policing on the streets of Portland. These things happen. Don't let them.
That's the place they had their own zone, right?
Don't let them. No, that was Seattle had the Chaz, the autonomous zones. But I mean, Portland might as well have. I mean, the Pacific Northwest completely lost its mind. Don't let this get memory hold, and not just during George Floyd, but subsequent.
Still to this day.
Well, clearly, based on the verdict in that Andy Ngo case.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Do the proposed tax and estate planning changes have you concerned about your future? The time to prepare is right now. Take advantage of a no-obligation conversation with a member of the Wealth Management Group team. It's a complimentary conversation focused solely on you, your goals, and how changes can impact your family's future. Call 833-WMG-PLAN or visit investwithwmg.com.
Securities and financial planning offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC. Between the Consumer Price Index, inflation, and job reports, it feels like you need a PhD in economics to fully understand the economic news happening around us every day. That's why you need the Everyday Economics Podcast. Join host Chris Krug and economist Dr. Orfe Devungi as they help you understand the economic world happening around you every day. Listen to the Everyday Economics Podcast at americastalking.com or wherever you get your podcast.
So what's the trouble here, mister?
I don't understand what happened. I checked my stuff in Chicago, and when we landed in L.A., I came to baggage claim, and there it was, my $10,000 Canoma analyzer in pieces, completely trashed.
Just the facts, buddy. What did you have it packed in?
Well, just the box it came in, but there was all this foam and thick cardboard. It looked sturdy enough.
That's what they all think, pal, till it's too late.
What am I gonna do now? My boss is gonna kill me.
Here's some good advice for you. The next time you transport anything valuable, put it in a Star case, leading manufacturer of customer-usable shipping cases.
So where do I get a Star case?
Now you're getting smart, bub. You can find everything you need to know to order one direct at starcase.com or call 800-822-STAR, where a friendly, knowledgeable sales engineer will be glad to help you design the custom case you need. That's starcase.com or 800-822-7827.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 5:38, the Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts makes a plea to the residents with respect to the migrants. That's 5:38.
But now let's head into that newsroom. Nikki Whaley is in for Mike Scott. Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning. It's 71 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. The wildfires in Hawaii are taking its toll on the island of Maui. Governor Josh Green said Thursday that the fires are likely to be the largest natural disaster in the history of the state, with 53 people confirmed dead so far. Progress is being made, but none of the fires are at 100% contained. The Chicago Board of Health wants Mayor Brandon Johnson to keep the city's public health commissioner in her post. During his campaign, Johnson promised to replace Dr. Allison Arbwadi, who was appointed by former Mayor Lori Lightfoot. During a meeting last night, the Board of Health agreed to send a letter requesting that Johnson keep Arbwadi after praising her for her leadership during Chicago's COVID-19 response. News is a service of Dan and Amy 24/7. You can now enjoy uninterrupted programming from Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson around the clock all day, every day, including daily replays of Chicago's Morning Answer. Listen now at danandamy247.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Prager says we're no better.
If a right-wing government had done this to the left-wing leader of the opposition in a South American country, we would have said, of course, what do you expect? It's a banana republic. That's what we are becoming as well. Corrupt, like so many of the other governments have been in the Western Hemisphere.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control and develop healthy eating habits for the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight and keep it off the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with scans, to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. Locations locally in Skokie and Oakbrook, or available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Sean Thompson here for my friend Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group. There aren't many people who would knowingly leave their job to start another job for a 30% cut in pay. And yet, people do it every day when they enter retirement. Why enter the exciting new chapter of your life with less money? Why trade the stress of work for more stress in retirement? Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group can help. Just call Tom at 630-934-1855 for your complimentary, customized retirement. It addresses many of the big questions you may have, like what to do about Social Security, managing your investments, and how to create income you can never outlive. You can downsize your house, but don't downsize your lifestyle. Get a complimentary, customized retirement plan at 630-934-1855 or visit alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, an SEC registered investment advisor. RWA and Alpha Wealth Group are independent of each other. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
O'Reilly Auto Parts Loaner Tool Program has more than 80 specialty loaner tools available to help you with your next repair. Refundable deposit required. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
From the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads on the Stevenson inbound, slowing down just a bit right around Ashland into the Chinatown feeder. Traffic is slowing on the ramp to the inbound side of the Dan Ryan, not really affecting travel times. That is starting to get busy, however. In on the Edens, no reported problems. The Kennedy looks great, 18 minutes O'Hare into the Jane Byrne interchange. And the inbound Eisenhower wide open to get from 390 into the post office. On the Dan Ryan, 12 minutes, 95th Street into downtown. Things look great along the Skyway, both directions. I-57 and the Bishop Ford, both of those are clear as well. DuSable Lakeshore Drive moving quickly, both north and southbound. No complaints out on the Tri-State or the Jane Addams. The Reagan and the Veterans Memorial Tollway all good. 8094 delay free. Traffic is a service of Salem Surround, providing your business with industry-leading digital marketing strategy designed to surround your target audience and drive action. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now check your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Breezy, humid day, clouds and some sun, a morning thunder shower, and then an afternoon thunderstorm, high 84. Partly cloudy, humid, strong thunderstorm tonight, low 70. Sun patchy clouds, very nice day tomorrow, the high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
This is studio, really? Gee, brutal. And that's, and I'm not a Phil Collins fan, but I mean, come on. All right, coming up right now, New York, San Francisco, Massachusetts. New York and Massachusetts in particular, Massachusetts now on the map with respect to the migrant issue. Wasn't an issue when everybody was celebrating sanctuary city and state designations. But sanctuary state has become synonymous with state of emergency, and that's what Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey declared earlier this week, as we brought to you. Now the lieutenant governor of Massachusetts, a human named Kim Driscoll, is making this plea to the residents of Massachusetts. As you hear this plea, think, well, if Lieutenant Governor Stratton here in Illinois, representing
Okay.
Governor Pritzker, made the same plea here, what would your response be?
Most importantly, if you have an extra room or suite in your home, please consider hosting a family. Safe housing and shelter is our most pressing need. Become a sponsor family. You can contact the Brazilian Worker Center for more information on how you can step up if you're willing to have an additional family be part of your family. If you're a local official, a college president, a business owner, or a faith leader with an available building or space in your community, please work with us to offer it as a shelter site. If you're a social service provider, please consider becoming an emergency assistance homeless shelter provider. Our resources are stretched thin there as well. And if you're a hotel or a motel owner, consider opening it up for emergency assistance. If you're a landlord or a property owner, we can use you too and connect you with service providers to help transition families into permanent housing. Everyone has something they can offer.
Exactly.
Yes.
All hands on
Step up.
deck. Would you offer a room, business space? I don't know if you're a volunteer for social service provider, space in addition to whatever space you have for your actual clients. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I mean, I don't know why we're not housing people here in this building where we are, because our occupancy is at an all-time low. There's suites on this floor and other floors that are completely empty. That step up, be a better neighbor, they say, and help out. I would do it because I've got some open rooms right now, but I'd need to know. I'd want to vet the person myself, and I want to know how much money I'm going to get. Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, no matter how much space I have, because I'm not in the business of encouraging people to come to this country illegally. Oh, right, we forgot that part, didn't we? And all of the excitement about what the government is going to pay other people with your money to house people in this country illegally, we forgot that part. But no, come on, all hands on deck.
Well, the city's out of room and they're out of money, and so is Mayor Eric Adams, who had a plea for Biden yesterday.
The immigration system in this nation is broken. New York City has been left to pick up the pieces. New Yorkers could be left with a $12 billion bill.
And he wants help yet again. This is like
Whatever.
a weekly occurrence.
He
from the
got
Biden
the big guy, dispatched one of his aides to go sit down with Eric Adams and figure out how, what is it going to take to shut you up for a while.
Well, Eric Adams is off his reelection committee, Biden's reelection committee. He's off of that. So this is the time when he needs to just say Biden's name. Just say, look, President Biden, you need to hire more Border Patrol agents. You need to shut down the border. You need to build that wall. Now is the time. And he won't do it.
Eric Adams, the proponent of a sanctuary city, is going to be the hero in this story.
I don't know. Well, Congressman Jamal Bowman, some say he might be part of the squad. I don't know. He's a male like Sean Casten who wants to be with the ladies of the left. He's stepping it up a little bit.
We need leadership from President Biden, period. Democrats are looking bad right now in New York State, and that's unacceptable when we have to win at least 4 congressional seats to take back the House. So hopefully the president is listening.
Will this get Biden's attention, Dan?
Yeah, but come on. It's just a shakedown. Give us some cash. We're fine with Sanctuary City. We're fine with Sanctuary State. Is anybody proposing to repeal that designation? Is anybody proposing to act in concert with Governors Abbott or DeSantis so that they stop the flow of those who come into this country illegally and say, I'd really like to be in New York? Well, you happen to be in luck where you have a bus going to New York. Are they doing anything? No, this is a shakedown for federal cash, your cash, to go to New York because, of course, they want this population and they want to provide for this population and they want this population to be dependent on the state, just like so much of their existing population is. It's the same thing in Chicago. Have you noticed? I mean, is this scheme they're running that complicated? Apparently it is for Chicago residents. Apparently it is for New York residents and big cities. Can't quite connect these dots. I mean, is it unclear what these politicians are doing? Is anybody confused? Jamal Bowman and Eric Adams. Oh my gosh, you're really giving it to the big guy. What are you talking about?
Well, for them, it's political because the Democrats are looking bad. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the residents who are pushed out of their spaces that they pay taxes for. I don't know what's going to happen. School's starting soon. What Wright College, Daily. Well, they're in the spaces that students are supposed to be using in like 3 weeks.
This is what you want. Wait, I'm supposed to get upset about this on behalf of people who invited it?
I'm talking about the students who are paying to go to school there. They're not going to have.
Oh, would you like to survey those students?
Well, I know.
Would you like to survey those students and ask them how many of them support Sanctuary City and Sanctuary State? Would you like to survey those students going to Wright College and these other joke universities that shouldn't even be open? They don't educate anyone, just like the schools they came from. Would you like to survey them and see what their attitudes are towards these public policies that I'm paying for and you're paying for?
I'll ask them.
Yeah, right. It'll be really hard to figure out where they're coming from. It's a bunch of burgeoning free market conservatives these schools are incubating, aren't they? I mean, are you serious?
They don't like what's going on, I can tell you that.
They don't like what's going on because it's impacting their quality of life. It has nothing to do with their political philosophy. They never connect the dots.
They're high schoolers who didn't have a political philosophy.
This is why, oh, please. They didn't have a political philosophy class. There's no adult supervision. There's no adult mentorship. These are people who are out there marching with CTU. These are people out there that back these same hack politicians generation after generation after generation. Oh, well, now they're the victims. Oh, God, what about the pound sand? Done with it. You invited it all, and you don't like the consequences. And you can't even understand that these people are putting you on a plantation. They have, as you just said, they have no interest in your future or your present, for that matter. They have an interest in their present and their political future. That's it. And if you can't figure that out, then you're dead from the neck up. Tom and Oswego.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. First of all, these politicians, they don't care about us. They don't care one bit. Has anybody asked them the question, what do they do after this transitional phase is over? Shelters are meant for emergency purposes, and then you move back to your home. Yeah. Have they talked about where these people are
long-term planning?
Yeah, well, they're hoping that they find a place to live or find family members and get a job.
First of all, I'm sorry. What is a long-term plan? The long-term plan for them is to go back to their home country until their asylum case is adjudicated. We shouldn't be talking about a long-term plan for them to be in this country. I don't want a long-term plan for them. I'm sorry, but you have to follow the rules. And if you want to reform immigration writ large, I'm happy to have that conversation. And I have some prerequisites to have that conversation we've talked about for years. But everybody forgets the premise here. The premise is they shouldn't be here. That's the starting point. The only good thing New York City is doing is they're finally making some use of those white elephants called soccer fields. Putting tents over soccer fields and turning those into migrant facilities. That is something I do support. Anything to take soccer fields out of play. So I'll give Eric Adams credit for that.
I wonder how Megan Rapinoe feels about that.
Jason, Northlake.
Yeah, you kind of stole a little bit of my thunder, but I think that anybody that has one of those Black Lives Matter or Hate Has No Homes or any of those sentimental barbarians should just automatically have to put the families up. Like, you know, they drive down the street, oh, they got a sign, and then knock, knock, here you go, you have to take them. No, you don't have a choice because you gave up that choice when you voted for us in power. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Jason. Ken in Plainfield. Hey, Ken.
Yeah, I'd barely let my own kids move back in if they have to, much less admitted felon. Which also makes me wonder how many are living at Gracie Mansion or any of the other governor's mansion. Well,
yeah, right. Thanks for the call,
Ken. What about McCormick Place? Oh, God. I mean, I drove by the 19th again yesterday, and there's still just barricades out. We can't go into our own police station. That we live in this neighborhood, and we can't go in there and file a report.
I'd encourage Brandon Johnson to take the lead, but I wouldn't want to put any migrants in the Austin neighborhood. Pat in Lockport.
It's 5 have been.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, considering Trickster's idea, I would tell him that he could put it where it would never see the light of day, number one.
Hi-yo.
Number two, you, sir, may go ahead and put migrants in every single property that you own. Thirdly, are you so stupid that you didn't realize that you are complicit in violating immigration laws, and you're going to put that same burden on me? Do these people ever replay what they say in public? I mean,
Thanks for the call, Pat. David Lansing.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I heard the lady plea about help needed to house immigrants, but and I don't want to be accused of being a racist, but I'm trying to get past a few things first. I'm trying to see if I can handle tuberculosis. I'm not sure if my health can handle that. I'm not sure about the local code about roosters and corn in the front yard, too. I'm not sure if the local code will allow that. I have to check with the building department. Plus, I have a credit card balance of 26% in Section 8 housing all over the place now, and I pay high rent to my landlord because of it. And so I'm trying to find the money. Maybe Menards has a steel building. They have 11% off sale. I can buy a steel building and put them in there. I'm not sure. I got to get past a few things, but I do appreciate it. I don't want to be racist. Have a good day. I don't want.
Thanks for the call, David. So what?
Why bring up chickens and roosters in your front yard? That's rude. He thinks he's going to house people. I mean, he was being sarcastic, but come on.
Come on, what?
Just he does sound racist by saying that.
Why?
Because he's assuming that people that are from Central America all have roosters and chickens. They don't. They have a bag, and then they have stuff that we're giving them that we're paying for.
No, I know. They're all molecular biologists and CPAs, right? Mm-hmm.
Farm to table type of people, yes.
San Francisco, this is good. This is something some enterprising person in Chicago may want to do. This is where it's gotten to. San Francisco now has a doom loop walking tour.
What?
Yeah, a doom loop walking tour. For just $30, you can sign up for a walking tour of San Francisco's doom loop, which is basically the entire city. Your guide will be a San Francisco native billed as a political junkie and opinionated loudmouth, but he's actually a sitting city commissioner. How can a city with $14.6 billion annual budget be a model of urban decay? How can it spend $776 million per year on police and have no rule of law to show for it? How can it spend $690 million on homeless services and receive an official UN condemnation for its treatment of the homeless? Open-air drug markets, abandoned tech offices, the outposts of the nonprofit industrial complex, and deserted department stores. Discover the policy choices that made America's wealthiest city the nation's innovative leader of housing crisis, addiction crisis, mental health crisis, and unrepentant crime crisis. Take the San Francisco Doom Loop tour, and you could repeat the same advanced billing for the tour of every major city in this country, and some minor ones too. Couldn't you? Sean and Darian.
I love this show. You guys are friggin' awesome. Dan, you're spot on like always. I've got two boys that are in high school, and I just beat into their head about conservatism and in the political views. I mean, they would never be walking in a Black Lives Matter, parade or whatever you want to call it, because they'd be eating soup the rest of their life. It's how you raise them at home. It's how you raise them at home is the only chance we have. And I promise you, I take what you guys put on the air, and it's great knowledge and it's great information, and I thank you for that every day. Nice talking to you.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Appreciate it. Good luck with your kids, and good luck to your kids. Don't cross Sean.
Every day.
Marvin, Burlington, Wisconsin.
Morning. I don't know why you would ever think about inviting a criminal into your home. and with the way the laws are, how would you ever get rid of them? I mean, you can't evict them. They don't do any. They're not going to be able to do anything, and I mean, they multiply, and then you got them. You have to have. I mean, it's asinine, the whole theory, if you have any sense at all.
Thanks for the call, Mark.
Yeah, that would. I mean, I think I was speaking tongue in cheek about letting people come in my house, because the more you think about it, what is the end date for that? And will the government even really pay you? And do you have to set parameters? You set your own house rules. You have to get a job within the next 48 hours. I don't care what you do, but you have to work somewhere.
Do you
really want to Caitlin house guest?
2.6 million people. 2.6 million people since Biden was elected. And it's just willy-nilly. And so people are left to their own devices, including governors, and this is what you have happen. You unleash all of these problems, and you use people as political footballs, unfortunately, including a lot of people that want to come to this country for all the right reasons and would otherwise be welcome in if they did so legally. And maybe if they're truly fleeing political violence, then they should have their asylum applications approved. Don't have any problem with any of that. But you can't do it this way. You cannot do it this way. And you cannot allow these cities to buy you off to serve as sentinels of policies that are destroying those cities and this country. Talk about penny wise and pound foolish. I'll take the couple $100 a night from the government to put them in my hotel while I help expedite the disintegration of the city in which my hotel is located. What kind of sense does that make? Larry in Elmhurst.
Hey, good morning. Hey, once that Safety Act goes to an effect, these criminals that have come across into the United States, they camp in your backyard. Cops aren't even going to come. So you people better get guns and protect your property and yourself. That's all I got to say.
All right, Larry. Mike in Northwest Indiana.
All right, guys. On Amy's previous comment, Amy, there's going to become a day if things don't change where Antifa or BLM is going to show up at your home, evict you, go move in, and there's not going to be a damn thing you can do about it.
Yeah,
will not back you up.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, the idea
I don't think that's going to happen. But
well, yeah, hopefully it's
in
unlikely.
The Virgin Islands and St. Thomas and
yeah, right,
the 70s.
Because we're so different here. We're different human beings in America, right? Are we? We're so different than what happens in other countries couldn't happen here. I mean, are you watching what's happening? Are you serious? You look at who's in charge? You don't think the same excesses you see in the developing world could be visited upon cities that are disintegrating before your very eyes with politicians in charge who would be very comfortable in developing world autocracies? Very comfortable. No, it could never happen. What, Tom Dart is going to save you? Rokan? He's going to dispatch Rokan to get him out of your house?
Rokan's for carjacking.
I mean, are you serious?
You really think that someone's going to come and kick me out of my house?
What do you think? Stop taking it so literally. The idea that you could have mobs overrun law-abiding people and literally seize their property. They seize everything else, but they would never seize the property. And who's going to do something about it? The Brandon Johnson's going to dispatch the Chicago police to do something about it? Maybe it wouldn't happen to you because you have friends on the police department and they'd come and help, and other friends would come and help. But you don't think this could happen to anybody in this country? There is nothing that cannot happen to people in this country that is not happening in most of the rest of the world. It is all a matter of what the relationship between the state and the individual is. And what's the relationship between city government or state government here and the citizen, would you say? A good one? Productive one? You feel safe? You feel protected? You feel like your interests are being advanced? Snap out of it.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, I'm Raquel.
And I'm Babette.
Here to invite you to listen to our show, Belly of the Beast,
where we tackle all the hot topics and issues that you are talking about today.
So join us each week for our
hard-hitting,
fun,
informative,
topical,
out there
radio show where we leave nothing on the table.
Belly of the Beast, heard every Saturday evening at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer. And follow us on Facebook at Belly of the Beast IL.
AM 560, The Answer. Don't miss Cigar Night with Dennis Prager, Dan Proft, and Sean Thompson on Thursday, August 24th. Get your tickets today at 560theanswer.com/cigar.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:06, why all the calls for Biden to declare a national climate emergency? National Security Council spokesman John Kirby did it for him. 6:06.
And today we're going to have a slight chance of showers, then a chance of thunderstorms after 10 a.m. Partly sunny, though, after that with a high near 84 degrees. And your weekend looks great Saturday, a high of 85, and on Sunday, a high of 83. It is now 6 a.m., WIND Chicago.
They fear they'll find more bodies. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, in the charred ruins of the historic Hawaiian town of Lahaina that burned to the ground.
When the mayor said it's all gone, it's all gone. It's all gone. It's gone.
Maui Police Chief John Pelletier, at least 55 people are confirmed dead, about 1,000 others unaccounted for.
People not knowing the fate of their family members, their loved ones. Communication systems are down on the west side of the island. 911 isn't operable. Cell service isn't possible. Right now, we're standing at a roadblock on the road to Lahaina. Residents aren't being let in, and they won't be let in for the foreseeable future.
Fox Weather's Max Gordon in Maui. Thousands of tourists have left, and with many residents now homeless, Governor Josh Green says
that will mean reaching out to all of our hotels and those in the community. We'll ask people to rent those extra rooms.
President Biden issued a disaster declaration for Hawaii, sending in federal help while he was in Utah, touting a law he signed last year expanding medical benefits to military members exposed to toxic waste overseas.
Don't tell me we can't get things done when we work together. Democrats and Republicans work together to get that done.
The president has said he believes his eldest son, Bo's fatal brain cancer was caused by exposure to burn pits when he served overseas in the Delaware National Guard.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. Former President Trump's lawyers returned to court today for a hearing in his third criminal case.
Federal prosecutors are asking for an order from federal judge Tanya Chutkan limiting what former President Trump can say or post on social media about evidence in his upcoming trial on conspiracy charges over his response to the 2020 election.
That's Fox's Jack Callahan. Now, the former president claims they're trying to silence him, and he's also upset the special counsel wants a January 2nd trial date, just ahead of the first 2024 contest in Iowa, calling that, in a Truth Social post, maximum election interference. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 71 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Former Vice President Mike Pence says he'll restore civility to the White House if he's elected president. Pence spoke to hundreds of people at the Des Moines Register Political Soapbox at the Iowa State Fair on Thursday.
I believe we need leadership that will stay grounded on the timeless conservative principles that have always made this country great and have led our movement to victories over the last 50 years.
The former VP and Indiana governor said in Iowa and Indiana, we know how to talk to people who don't agree with us. Pence says he hopes to restore civility among citizens. The Illinois Supreme Court is expected to rule today on the state's assault weapons ban. The state's high court is deciding whether the ban is constitutional. Governor Pritzker signed the Protect Illinois Communities Act back in January in response to the deadly 4th of July shooting in Highland Park last year. The measure bans the sale of military-style weapons and high-capacity magazines in the state. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to block the law statewide back in May. The 2023 Illinois State Fair is underway. Governor Pritzker and other state officials came together to celebrate the opening of the fair, which runs through August 20th. The annual event takes place at the fairgrounds in Springfield, which features food, exhibits, contests, music, and more. Performers this year include Alanis Morissette, REO Speedwagon, Alter Bridge, Tim McGraw, Maren Morris, Nelly, and J. Roll. News is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile or text the word app to 64636. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Charlie Kirk wants the GOP to come together.
What is the goal? Is the goal to spend a bunch of money, make yourself feel good, or is the goal to defeat the Marxist Democrats in November of 2024? The Democrats know that their path to holding on power, despite them being unpopular, illegitimate, and traitors to America, is that our own side can't get its act together.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, I've told you about how Relief Factor helped me with my aches and pains. Let me tell you about Haven in Texas. Haven writes, I'm taking Relief Factor from my shoulder and lower back, and it works. No more pain. My husband started taking Relief Factor for his upper back and hip and didn't think it was working until he ran out and realized the pain was coming back. Relief Factor just works. We are so happy it's working for you and your husband like it does for thousands of others across America. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free solution developed by doctors to help your body attack the underlying inflammation causing pain. What activity would you like to be doing again? Your first step to becoming pain-free could just be to order the 3-week Quick Start for only $19.95. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's 800-4RELIEF. Live your best life and feel the difference with Relief Factor.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I think it's just a really good idea, simply because I have such a busy schedule that I can't always take care of all of my nutritional needs in the proper ways. I really like it. It's quite nice. I would say that I have more energy. I'm sleeping really well. With my schedule, I don't get quite enough sleep sometimes. And when that happens, I still can manage to have a normal day the following day. So I'm pretty well pleased with it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
From the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads on the southwest side. Cermak is closed either way between Holman and Trumbull. This is all due to police activity. On the expressways and tollways, no delays report going in on the Edens. The Kennedy is a 25-minute trip in from O'Hare to downtown, especially tight central to Montrose. Crash on the shoulder on the inbound Eisenhower at Grand Avenue. So it's about 30 minutes in from 390 to the post office. And the Stevenson inbound checks in at 25, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Those express lanes, by the way, tightening up Pershing to 31st. No troubles to report on I-57, inbound side of the Ford stop and go 103rd to Michigan Avenue. DuSable Lakeshore Drive and all the tollways are trouble-free. Traffic is a service of In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday morning at 6:30 on AM 560. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His Word each Sunday morning right here, AM 560 The Answer. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Sun and clouds, breezy and humid. A morning thunder shower today, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm in the area. High today 84. Partly cloudy, humid, strong thunderstorm around tonight. Low 70. Sun, patchy clouds, very nice tomorrow. The high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Another one from the no, they'll never do that files. They'll never suggest that you take migrants into your home or business. They'll never do that. They'll never be imposed on you individually. That's, of course, a governmental responsibility. They'll figure it out.
I wonder if there's ever a time that they're going to make us take migrants in.
You know,
got to do your part. Be a good neighbor.
Well, first, we ask politely, and then all of a sudden the time for asking is over. Very much like the climate emergency that phrase that's being bandied about these days against the backdrop of that awful fire that has consumed Maui and killed so many people. Climate emergency, climate emergency, climate emergency.
Yeah,
time for the president to declare a climate emergency.
They don't even know how it started. That fire in Maui, they're still trying to figure that out. And the winds came from, it was 80-mile-per-hour winds from a hurricane that was south of Maui to fuel the fire.
My heart breaks hearing of the devastation in Maui. The climate crisis is here, and it's killing people. It's time for POTUS to declare a climate emergency. That's Socialist bicycle Cori Bush from St. Louis.
Hey.
And she's not the only one. The press corps is peppering both POTUS as well as all of his functionaries. When will you declare a climate emergency? Declare a climate emergency. Declare a climate emergency.
Well, what does that look like? Are they going to lock us in our houses again? I mean, what does that mean?
Well, that's a question that nobody's asking. I didn't hear that follow-up. Did not hear that follow-up from...
the Weather Channel lady?
Yeah, the Weather Channel person who interviewed Biden at the Grand Canyon the other day as he was taking a bunch of our land and your land off the grid in terms of energy exploration. Like, you can't mine for uranium deposits, which fuel nuclear power plants. Anyway, this is what he said about the climate emergency. Yeah, we're acting like there's one. It's close enough.
Are you prepared to declare a national emergency with respect to climate change?
I've already done that.
So you've already declared that national emergency?
Practically speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Practically or technically speaking? And then during that...
Either way.
While she's trying to get more out of him, like, well, when did you exactly do that? He stops her. He's like, you've got a bug on your shirt. She's like, okay, don't touch me. And then she kept asking him, the question that he wouldn't answer.
Well,
or give details on, I should say.
That's the question. What does declaring a climate emergency look like? What is it they want that they don't already have? They have all of the back Green New Deal spend that John Podesta is going to distribute to all of their friends in the alternative energy space, so we can power a $20 trillion economy on switchgrass, windmills, and solar panels. Sure, of course. Not a problem. But does it look like regulating your toilets, washing machines, dishwashers, stoves, water heaters, generators? Does it look like connecting everything from childhood obesity forward to climate change, to global warming, climate change? What's the phrase that pays these days?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
John Kirby, he's the NSC spokeshuman. He was on with that puppet Poppy on CNN yesterday. Same question. When's he going to declare a climate emergency? What does that mean, Poppy? I don't know. It's just that everybody's asking, so I'm just asking it. Are you able to think? No, I'm not. That's why I just asked the same question everybody's asking without any interest in any consequences, follow-ups, or implications.
The president hasn't made a decision yet on declaring a national emergency on climate, Poppy, but for all intents and purposes, he's treating this with all the due gravity and the seriousness that the climate crisis deserves. I mean, it's been a focus for him since day one.
Well, how much worse does it need to get to declare it a national emergency?
Right. Well, look, I don't want to get ahead of the president or his decision-making here. All I can tell you is that as an administration, we're going to stay focused on the climate crisis. It is front and center. It is right in front of us. And these wildfires and all the severe storms that we continue to see are definitely caused as a result of what's going on in the rising temperature across the globe.
The Maui fire could have been from a citizen who didn't extinguish a campfire.
John Kirby is climatology. Just as Tony Fauci is science. John Kirby is a Pentagon flack.
Right.
But now he knows
he's a meteorologist,
all these sorts of things. Atmospheric scientist, John Kirby.
It's sickening.
Bjorn Lundberg wrote this piece. I mentioned it the other day, yesterday actually, I think, when we were talking about Judith Curry. Here's what you're seeing play out in real time, which is why he wrote this piece. Campaigners and news organizations play up fear in the form of floods, storms, and droughts, while neglecting to mention that reductions in poverty and increases in resiliency mean that climate-related disasters kill ever fewer people. Over the past century, such deaths have dropped 97%. Heat waves capture the headlines. The hottest July, the hottest month in
the world's history.
Yeah.
Since record-keeping began, oh my God, run inside.
Globally, however, cold kills 9 times more people. Was that included in all those stories about the heat in July?
No.
The higher temperature, arguably characterizing this century, higher temperatures, have resulted in 166,000 fewer temperature-related deaths overall. Does anybody talk about those lives accounted for? Fear-mongering and the suppression of truly inconvenient truths are pushing us dangerously toward the wrong solutions. Oh, we're already there, Bjorn, but yes, politicians and pundits call en masse for net zero policies that will cost far beyond $100 trillion while producing benefits a fraction as large. We need to be able to have an honest discussion of costs and benefits and a true reckoning with the facts to find the best solutions. I'm sorry, we don't have time for facts or discussion. The debates are over. Let the hysteria ensue and run like a wildfire through the body politic.
Got a great text message. Dan and Amy, climate emergency equals more mail-in ballots. Because during COVID, remember during those lockdowns, that's how that all began in earnest.
Robert, Bloomingdale.
Good morning. Well, after they're done ruining this country, they're going to have to sanction and invade other countries because 80% of the global warming gases are produced by other countries than us. I think we produce less than 20%. So in order to really tackle this problem, we have to invade the whole planet and control it, don't we?
Thanks for the call. Not really. Not if we destroy this country and turn it into what most of the rest of the planet looks like. That's really the goal, it seems to me. They'd like to have the kind of control over this country that President Xi enjoys over China. And by the way, let's not start from faulty premises. All this talk about CO2 being this civilization destroyer. Here's a little ditty from Patrick Moore, the co-founder of Greenpeace, who we've had on the show many times, and we'll have him back on this matter. Let's talk about what we actually know from the science and from the people who actually know the science. Patrick Moore on CO2. It's a little extended, but you should hear it all and share it with your friends.
One of my missions is to turn on its head the idea that carbon dioxide is a pollutant and somehow dangerous, when in fact it is the most important nutrient for all life on Earth, and without it this would be a dead planet. So I say not only is carbon dioxide good, it is essential, and it's a good thing that we are putting some more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because it was running low before we came along.
CO2, we know its benefits for plants, but it is a known greenhouse gas, and we're pumping too much of it in, leading to global warming.
Well, actually, it may be a known greenhouse gas, but it's not known how strong it is in terms of changing the Earth's temperature. And so far in this century, there has been zero warming from a statistically significant basis, and the UK Met Office says so, yet 1/3 of all human CO2 emissions have been put into the atmosphere in the last 18 years. So it doesn't look like a lockstep causal relationship between increasing CO2 and warming of the Earth.
Are you seriously suggesting we should be pumping more stuff in, polluting the earth more, building more coal-fired power stations just so we can make sure that the CO2 levels are good?
No, I'm not, because we're putting plenty of CO2 into the atmosphere. We don't need to do it this quickly, but if we bring it up to a higher level than it is today, we will get immediately an increase in the growth of crops and trees, which is not a bad thing. In the long run, though, it doesn't matter if we bring it down quite a bit. And so that's why I'm supportive of nuclear energy and of natural gas. This tendency to go in the rich countries to wind and solar is a giant waste of money. Those wind farms will rust in place, and there is no fun to decommission them when they either wear out or we decide how ridiculous it is to spend so much money for so little electricity that isn't even reliable.
What are you saying about energy policy now to the ideas of decarbonisation to cut? Is everyone wrong?
Yes, they're wrong if they are actually basing their energy policy on decarbonisation. They're not wrong to base their energy policy on cost effectiveness, on pollution control, which is why moving from coal to gas makes sense if you have it. But India has coal, and India has 300 million people with no electricity. What do we expect them to do? Of course they're going to build coal plants, but India is also building a lot more nuclear plants than the UK is right now, and it doesn't have the emissions of a coal plant. And China is building huge hydroelectric dams, which don't have the emissions of coal plants. So many of these countries are doing their bit without wasting all this money on wind and solar energy, which is unreliable and prohibitively expensive in the long run.
Why is this consensus out there?
Look, if we had definitive proof that CO2 was causing serious problems and we could prove it, don't you think they would write that down on a piece of paper somewhere so people could read it? They don't have definitive proof, period, in science. I'm a student of the philosophy and history of science, and I know that the scientific method has not been applied in such a way as to prove that carbon dioxide is causing the Earth to warm.
Do you think in a few years, say 50 years from now, people go, that was a really stupid period in our history when we tried to change all our energy policies to cut this gas?
I am firmly of the belief that the future will show that this whole hysteria over climate change was a complete fabrication.
Sounds so similar to COVID.
Patrick Moore he reminds me of Howard Rourke in The Fountainhead. Would you stand against the whole world? And Patrick Moore is saying yes, and good for him, because we need more people willing to speak plainly like this, and also humbly. It is like COVID in so many ways.
Yep.
And it predates COVID. The moral and metaphysical certitude with which these apocalyptic eco-supremacists speak. That doesn't concern you at all? They know everything. There is no question. The debate is over. That's not what Patrick Moore is saying. Patrick Moore is saying, here's what we know. Here are the trade-offs. Here's the framework we should apply to trying to address these issues, to be good stewards of our environment and the planet, while also providing for the basic necessities of humanity, building an economy that lifts people out of poverty. You know, it's complicated. There are trade-offs in life, something else that these cultists, whether they're COVIDians or eco-supremacists, and they're basically, the Venn diagram would be a perfect circle, I think, or pretty damn close. There's no trade-offs for those people. It's save humanity by standing 6 feet apart for the last couple of years. Now it's save humanity by deindustrializing America. And there's nothing in between. And there's no trade-offs to discuss. And the debate is over. Byron, Western Burbs.
Yeah, hey, Dan and Amy, thanks for taking my call. There's, if climate change is actually real, going on that assumption, the thing that puzzles me is, where are the metrics that show that any action actually does anything? Hey, don't idle your car, or let's change all the stoves out to electric. But what are the definitive measurements that show that that's actually going to make some kind of a change? 1 for 1, 1 for 10, 10 to 1, like that. And without that, any business doesn't go and make their manufacturing process different if they can't measure the result.
Thanks for the call, Byron. Well, not only that, then you have to compare that to what you can control, too, or that you have limited control over, or when trade-offs are made that undermine everything you think you're doing. I don't know, like whoever blew up the Nord Stream pipeline and the ecological damage that caused, or the wildfires that ran rampant in Canada. All of this decarbonization and CO2 and that event is so much more impactful than taking a couple of coal-fired plants offline, or certainly how much water you use in your washing machine, for God's sakes. Absolutely. But you don't talk about trade-offs just like we did during COVID. We've never, this has been going on for a long time. The Earth Day was 50 years ago plus. So, and then we went to Earth Hour. Right. So this has been a play for a long time. COVID was just another opportunity to make the same play. Now they're back to their old play. The central planners. Tony Roselle.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. When you said central planners, that touches on a few moving parts. One, this climate emergency is going to necessitate climate lockdowns. And they learned a lot of things from the COVID lockdowns. Now you're going to be able to lock down entire economies or sections of the economies in the name of climate science. And with the advent of digital currency, it's making it a lot easier to shut people off when you want to shut them off.
Well, yeah, thanks for the call. And not to mention, smart homes. Talking about how to, your minimums and maximums for heat and air conditioning.
What about solar panels? I think that's going to be mandatory one day.
Well, it is on new construction in California.
Yeah.
It's a process that they go through. They're very patient as they steadfastly move at whatever pace they're allowed to move down that road to serfdom, down that road to our serfdom.
I just will never forget during COVID, I had to go to a chiropractor, and the chiropractor said to me, well, this COVID and these lockdowns, this is just to prepare us for climate change and the lockdowns that we're going to have to experience when this happens.
I'm not sure there'll be lockdowns in the same way as COVID. I think it will be more subtle than that. Not that it's particularly subtle, but it's all the things that we're talking about that we're seeing right now. Like, when's it going to come? It's here. What do you mean?
And you need to declare an emergency.
When they're telling you, when they're regulating your appliances and imposing costs for said appliances that have to meet new standards, when they're talking about the end of combustion engine vehicles by 2035 and forcing people into, or incentivizing now, perhaps forcing later, into EVs and so forth. This is all part of it, right? And you see that? The argument they make for all these policies is the same, so they're telling you it's part of it. I think you should believe them. Matt, Southside.
Hey, morning. I was going to say, until these policies go into effect and it starts costing the American people money, that's when people are going to wake up. Just like with this Ukraine war. Everybody was supported, everybody was on board until it started costing money, until we saw how much money we were sending there when we could use that money here. And
I don't know.
If it financially hits us,
I don't
we're
think
not
so.
going to learn our lesson.
Thanks for the comment. I wish that were true. I don't think so. I don't think that's true. Let me give you an example. People making $50,000 having their tax dollars used to subsidize somebody making a lot more than that so they can buy a $90,000 Tesla. I buy, whatever. I buy a Honda Civic on my own money. I don't get any discount. And then I underwrite somebody else buying a $90,000 sports sedan.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Was there a revolt over that? I missed it if there was. I don't think so. Again, it's unless you connect the dots for people, or unless you smack them in the forehead with a 2x4, policy-wise, taking. I think most people don't see it, and not to mention, so much of the population has been conditioned to genuflect before Father Government. Thank you, Father. Oh, we're doing this in the interest of safety. Let's be safe.
If it saves one life.
It saves one life.
You got to do it. You got to be all in. You got to step up, do your part.
Bob, Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for taking my call. Always good talking to you. And thanks for educating your listeners who probably are in agreement, but you need to get the message out to the crazies out there. We need a bumper sticker that just simply says CO2 is plant food. Now, one other thing. 87 years ago, we had a really climate emergency. Have we forgotten about that climate event that took place in 1936? We seem to have forgotten about it, and it corrected itself. Climate changes. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for the call, Bob. Maybe it'll hit home, and President Biden will be forced to formally declare a national climate emergency if Oprah State on Maui is damaged in any way.
Oh.
That's what people are most concerned about. Celebrity.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dan Migatz, co-owner and CFO of AM Woodland Outdoor Design in Mundelein, and a new customer of Signature Bank. We specialize in the creative design and construction of outdoor living spaces, providing our residential and commercial customers first-in-class landscaping services. Our company was founded as a one-man operation, and today has grown into a multifaceted, one-stop shop for outdoor and indoor design and contracting needs. Signature Bank was there to provide the capital needed to grow our expansion efforts. We wanted to work with a bank that understands our business and is relationship focused. Signature Bank is what a relationship bank is all about. We're excited to continue our partnership for many years to come.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right. I want to wait for the music to start. Okay. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Howard Jones, a lot better than Phil Collins in studio.
I know. I thought you were gonna
George
blow
is getting better.
Gasket there. Why?
Well, you want to hear enjoyable music in the morning, don't you?
What's wrong with Susu Studio?
It's not,
or Studio. What's it called?
Susu Studio.
Susu
What do you mean?
Studio.
What's it called? You're a child of the '80s or an adult
And I
of the 80s.
did go to the Phil Collins concert at the, what was it called? The Horizon, right back then?
The Rosemont Horizon.
Rosemont Horizon.
I saw.
Who'd you see there? Before it changed to what was it? The Horizon, and then
Allstate Arena.
Yeah.
I saw REM there.
Oh, you did?
Back in the day when it was the Horizon. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you have good seats? Do you remember? Or were you in the nosebleeds?
Yeah, I'll give you all the details of
Coming
my
up?
my REM concert experience from 100 years ago. We do have, by the way, a song coming up. I mean, we don't really spin records on this show, but we're going to spin this one. This guy Oliver Anthony from rural Virginia. Wait till you hear this song. But coming up at 6:36, I don't know how to break it to you, but women,
Yeah.
you're over. It's over for you.
Wait, but it's over for you white guys.
Well, it's over for both of us. Carrie Gress, fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, joins us to discuss her new book, The End of Woman, 6:36.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Nikki Whaley in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. It's 71 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. Deadly wildfires are still being contained in Hawaii. Governor Josh Green says that the fires in Maui have killed at least 53 people and are likely to be the largest natural disaster in Hawaii's history. Green says it will take many years to rebuild and will likely cost billions of dollars. Hundreds of workers at Chicago's Loretto Hospital will be returning to work following an 11-day strike. The union representing the employees announced it reached a tentative contract agreement with the hospital leadership. The deal provides wage increases and a Juneteenth paid holiday. The workers hit the picket lines back on July 31st. News is a service of MyPillow. Big news. The MyPillow employees want to thank you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen size MyPillows, regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98 with promo code Amy. Visit mypillow.com and use promo code Amy. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Are you worried about investing in the stock market, especially with Joe Biden in office? Do you really trust the economy? What if you could invest in a secure, collateralized portfolio with a high fixed rate of return that's not correlated to the stock market or the Fed? A portfolio where you'll know what each monthly statement will look like with no surprises. Your interest is compounded daily. You're repaid monthly and there are no fees. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose. And get this, there's absolutely no loss of principal if you ever need your money back. Just go to investrefy.com. That's invest, the letter Y, then refy.com, or call 888-YREFI, 888-YREFY24. You can earn a fixed rate of return or up to 10.25%. Just call 888-YREFY24 or go to investrefy.com and tell them Charlie Kirk sent you.
Attention, your money is now controlled by the U.S. government.
Picture a world where your every purchase is monitored, tracked, and controlled by those in power to suppress the freedoms of those they see fit. Hi, my name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. And right now, I've become very focused on the impending rollout of the central bank digital currency. This is not a work of fiction. It's a terrifying reality looming on the horizon. But there is a bit of good news. I've partnered with Advantage Gold to offer you a solution. They are specialists in converting your traditional assets, like those inside an IRA or 401k, into tangible assets such as physical gold and silver. Don't allow your money to be controlled. Claim your free gold protection kit from Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000, 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor.
Call 800-900-8000.
From the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
Traffic on the Eden is filling in quite a bit. It's pretty sluggish as you head into Chicago. The Eisenhower is also starting to get a little bit slow in that area, just expected traffic. Chicago Skyway starting to fill in just a little bit. Same thing with the Stevenson, but nothing too concerning, just your typical run-of-the-mill traffic. For the most part, the roadways are still looking pretty good. This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Don't miss store-wide savings during the truckload event at Lowe's. Right now, save on major appliances. Get an additional 10% off in-store clearance appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/9. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
Breezy, humid day, clouds and some sun, a morning thunder shower, and then an afternoon thunderstorm, high 84. Partly cloudy, humid, strong thunderstorm tonight, low 70. Sun, patchy clouds, very nice day tomorrow, the high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
I walk out song.
Yeah. Well, in with a roar, out with a whimper.
What's going on with my gender, Dan?
You're done.
You know you're done. You white person, male.
It's not going great for white heterosexual Christian men either, but women, we don't even know what you are anymore.
What does that
right?
mean?
What do you mean? We got a Supreme Court justice who has no idea what that word means and what it connotes and who it is properly applied to. That's the subject and part of a new book by Carrie Gress. She's a fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center and an endangered species, member of the endangered species, apparently. Scholar at the Institute for Human Ecology at Catholic University of America as well. The book, The End of Woman, How Smashing the Patriarchy Has Destroyed Us. We tried to warn you, ladies. Nobody would listen. Carrie Gress, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Morning. How much time do you ladies have? I mean, does the
We're
planet,
on the clock, huh?
Does the planet burn up? I mean, I think that's 2030. Does the planet burn up before women are extinct, or what? What do you think?
Oh goodness, I think it could happen actually, but yeah, I think that's definitely the goal, to get rid of us entirely. I think the trans movement is moving in strong.
Well, the patriarchy, though, you use the term smashing the patriarchy like it's past tense, but I understand that from the deep thinkers on the left that the patriarchy still very much is oppressing women in America and the West.
Yeah, well, that's why we had to have the Barbie movie, to remind everybody just how awful the patriarchy is. So it seems to be doing a good job in its latest iteration of a lot of pink and nostalgia. But no, the active smashing of the patriarchy is very much alive, hasn't gone anywhere, and I think is still very much a tenet of radical feminism that's very commonplace in the culture today. And it will be, because it's effective. It's a great way to silence men and make them feel like they don't have any voice in the argument, and to make women feel like they're doing their job based on these feminist principles.
So in your book, The End of Women, you talk about the early development of feminism, and you followed the lives of which influential women?
Yeah, well, a ton of them. I went all the way back to the earliest stages of feminism, and starting with Mary Wollstonecraft, who's considered the godmother of the movement. I also talk about Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, go through all the major players, of obviously Betty Friedan, getting into the second wave, Gloria Steinem, Kate Millett, Angela Davis, on and on. So yeah, it's one of these things that I think we've been told that feminism took this radical turn in the second wave. But when I went back and looked at the first wave, it's very clear that it's had problems from the very beginning. Part of it being because it was actually defined, this idea of the independent woman came from a man, of all places. So that was one of the surprising things, was just to see how all these pieces have fit together. And the 1800s feminism was just as toxic in many ways as what we're experiencing. Well, not today, not that bad, but it certainly was created the foundation for what we're experiencing today.
Well, actually, the phrase "independent woman" came from a man. Give us more context there. That's where I think we're getting somewhere. But give us the context.
Yeah. So Mary Wollstonecraft had a daughter whom you know as Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. And while Mary Shelley is penning Frankenstein, her husband, Percy Shelley, who was the English poet, he was writing about this woman named Cythna. And Cythna was the first woman in all of the literature to not be married. She had no children. The only relationship she had was actually with the devil. And this became really this iconic character for a lot of the feminists during the 1800s. And we see in that creation of that woman, he's got the three pieces that we see throughout feminism, which are the occult, this desire for free love, or getting rid of the family, and monogamy, and then this idea of restructuring society, which has become smashing the patriarchy. So those are the three pieces that were in 1820. He's writing about this, and those are what have come down to us through Elizabeth Cady Stanton, through Susan B. Anthony, through all these suffrage movement, and obviously up through Betty Friedan and the others. But of course, all this couldn't have happened unless the movement started hitching its wagon to communism, and that's really where things, it was like adding gasoline to a flame, and that's really where things have taken off, and how we've gotten to the point now where all this Marxist ideology is really running the movement.
So is there a kind of feminism? Let me try that again. Is there a kind of feminism that's compatible with Christianity?
I don't really think there is anymore, unless women are very specific about defining themselves in a way that doesn't include any of these things. But communism, Marxism, smashing the patriarchy, free love, and the occult, none of that is going to be compatible with Christianity. So I think feminism has done an amazing job of branding itself, and it's really almost indefinable because women just think it means being pro-woman, and most women don't have any idea all these connections that they're getting involved with. So I think that's the hard part, is the definition is very elusive. And this is why people, I think, have thought, well, we can just massage it into our own sort of Christian theology. But if you do that, you have to recognize that you're not really in accord with what feminism actually is. You're creating something new.
So going back to Mary Godwin, Shelley, and so the first wave, Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood's founded in 1916, and the Frankfurt School in the 20s. Are these parallel tracks, or are these collaborators taking different angles to the same destination?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I think they are collaborators. I don't, it's not clear to me that they knew who each other was. I mean, this is the amazing thing about the Communist Party, is that it had so many different tentacles, so many people working in different ways. You had the U.S. Communist Party, you had the Soviet Communist Party, all of these, the International Party, all these different units doing different things, but they all had the same goal. And it's interesting to look at Sanger's life, because she actually initially was very happy with motherhood and seemed like a very contented woman. And then she and her husband moved to Paris, and she became very involved with the radical leftists there. So, yeah, I think that it's amazing to just see how all of these people are sort of doing something similar, but it all goes back to some kind of radical communist source.
And so the antidote to now 100 years plus of the disease.
Yeah, well, I mean, the antidote is to finally just stop doing what we've been doing, which is thinking that feminism is somehow, beneficent godmother that's just sort of watching over us and caring for us, but to recognize that it's just this incredibly deadly ideology. And I think it's also to just start recognizing what women are, instead of putting the masculine on a pedestal. That's really what's happened with the movement, is that we've idealized the masculine, and not the good masculine. We're talking about very bad men that feminists are encouraging us to act like. So those are, it's to undo the things that we have done, that we've been doing.
Bad men that feminists are encouraging women to act like. Explain.
Men that are drunk and promiscuous and aren't responsible and blame other people and resentful. These are all the things that they've been encouraging. I think not what they would call toxic masculinity, but objectively just bad people who are abusing other people and behaving in awful ways.
Now, if someone asked you, what is a woman, what would you say?
Well, the short answer, of course, is the, adult female human. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. I think women are there's an element of motherhood that has to be involved, and not just biological. I think we're also meant to be psychological and spiritual mothers as well. And, we can see this kind of seeping out in the culture. We've taken children and grandchildren away from women, and we've seen this explosion of pets and even plants. We see people calling themselves plant parents now. So women have this desire to love and nurture and care for others, and it's going to manifest itself one way or another. And, we currently spend $700 million on Halloween costumes for our pets in the United States. So it's coming out in that format, and I think, we don't need to continue building a culture on all this resentment. We need to just start recognizing that, being mad at half the country, half the population is actually not working for anybody.
I want to hear more about these plant moms. I mean, I've heard of goldfish moms and cat moms.
It's probably
Oh no, the plant.
same concept.
Plant
It sounds like, yeah.
The new thing. Yeah, it's the new thing. Mm-hmm.
And then you got to get a Halloween costume for your plant.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Take it out trick or treating. Yeah.
We played a clip from this pastor in Ohio the other week that I thought he summed up our culture right now pretty well, and see if you agree with this, and if you do, how much feminism, as you're describing it over the last century, is to blame. He described a culture where men are unrestrained and it leaves women unprotected. Is that a pretty good one sentence summation?
Yeah, I think there's another piece of it. I think women have been unrestrained as well, and actually told to actively see men and children as their enemy. And I think that there you are, kind of at two sides of a magnet. Everybody's sort of forced against one another. And that's really by design. I mean, the feminist movement is about power and controlling people and making people, breaking people, basically, so that the state then has more power and can call the shots. And that's why communism was so actively against the nuclear family, because when you have an intact, healthy nuclear family, that's going to be a vital living force against communist ideology.
And that's exactly what the Frankfurt School theorists like Wilhelm Reich were arguing in the 1920s. I mean, people need to go back and read this. I mean, this is not new, and their designs for society were not nuanced.
Yeah, and I love that, Wilhelm Reich actually wrote a book, and it was published in 1936, called The Sexual Revolution, and it was the blueprint for the movement. And, people think it sort of happened organically, but it was all planned from the start, for sure.
But certainly the seeds were planted, and then subsequent generations picked them up and ran with them. Yeah, right. So what is your level of optimism? I go back to this conversation we had with Ryan T. Anderson maybe a year, 18 months ago, and he's, when I mean, I'm a fan, but I'm also much more skeptical than he is. He thought, when it's the bathroom thing, that's going to be the end of the trans movement. Women's sports, that thing, when men start playing women's sports, it's going to be the end of it. I didn't see that. I didn't see that at the time. I didn't see it going down that way, and it's not going down that way at present in my assessment. What is your view? I mean, how optimistic are you that these obvious excesses that are generating some pushback are really going to alter the course of culture?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a difference between my, optimism. I'm not very optimistic about it, but I am seeing some glimmers of hope, especially with the with women, moms getting involved. I think that's one of the fascinating things. I mean, look who's the government's targeting right now are moms. These are sort of the, the wild card in politics, like Phyllis Schlafly and her Eagle Forum. Like, nobody expected that, and look what happened with the ERA because of her. So I think that, the government tells us who they're afraid of, and right now it's moms, and it's just really heartening. And this is one of the things I talk about in my book, is that so many of us don't agree with the radical feminist ideology, but we feel totally isolated. We have, no sort of platform to hook into to start making our voice heard. And I think this is what these kinds of groups are doing, is providing a place for women to actually get involved and to influence their friends and, certainly their families as well. So I think that is certainly a first glimmer of hope. I think the other piece is just to see that people have, the Bud Light piece that came out of nowhere, and that seems like it's continuing. People are, a lot of times with boycotts, people will be like, I can do that for a week, but I'm giving up on it. But this seems to have the longevity that, we haven't seen anywhere else either. So it seems like people are starting to pay attention and realize that their dollars can send some really strong signals to shutting this down.
She is Carrie Gress, fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, scholar at the Institute for Human Ecology at Catholic University of America. The new book, The End of Woman, How Smashing the Patriarchy Has Destroyed Us. The End of Woman. Carrie Gress. Carrie, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch. and it feels so good. You switch to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard me tout the goodness that is 120 Life. It has so many benefits that I can't stop talking. It's my go-to juice. I drink it every day, help keep my blood pressure in check, and I feel better drinking it. It's packed with natural ingredients that have amazing health benefits like pomegranate, hibiscus, and cherry. 120 Life tastes good, and it feels good, especially when you pour it over ice. It comes in a convenient 8-ounce bottle that makes it easy to take on the go, as well as the new powdered drink mix with only 1 gram of sugar and 5 calories. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Use coupon code LIBERTY. Save 15% off plus free shipping. And you can earn customer rewards points with every order. Points that you can collect and redeem for product discounts up to $50. Check it out at 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Make it easy to manage your high blood pressure. Try it today. Order now, 120life.com, and use coupon code LIBERTY. Save 15%. 120life.com. 120 Life. I love this stuff.
By the way, I got a text from 815 asking if I wore my members-only jacket to that REM concert I went to at the Rosemont Horizon back in the day.
You had one, right?
I did have one briefly, but by that time I had matured, and I went to the concert in sort of, the Alex P. Keaton garb.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well,
you ditched the parachute pants and the members-only jacket?
No, this is a public event, so
Yes.
You went nice pair of slacks and a smart sport coat.
Yeah, right, with a sweater underneath.
And an attaché case.
Yeah.
For my belongings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what did you have for dinner yesterday? Did you have any fruits and vegetables, Dan? Anything besides vodka, which is a potato?
I had, I did. They were in this seafood gumbo that they have at Olympia Fields. It's very good.
Oh, okay. And that's it? No salad? Or
That was it.
Okay, well.
And vodka.
You should be taking Balance of Nature, because when you give your body the best possible fuel, you have more energy, you're stronger, you think more quickly. So it's 31 whole fruits and vegetables in these bad boys. I take 6 capsules a day, 3 fruits, 3 veggies. They take the fruits and vegetables and they're powdered after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. No preservatives, no dyes, all natural, GMO, gluten-free. And people who take it swear by it. They've increased energy. Some have gotten their health back. Some have lost weight, because people come up and tell me all their Balance of Nature stories. And it's enjoyable. But I love my Balance of Nature because I'm not getting enough fruits and veggies on my own. The number to call, 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Operators are always standing by. Health consultants, health coaches. They'll tell you about all the properties and advantages, as well as I am, about Balance of Nature. First-timers get 35% off and free shipping. Or you can go online to balanceofnature.com. Be sure to use discount code Chicago.
Rest easy knowing your savings are secure and earning you more with a Wintrust MaxSafe account. With MaxSafe, you get up to 15 times the standard FDIC personal protection. That's right, 15 times the protection with the ability to secure up to $3.75 million per account holder. Now that's banking as it should be. Call 833-MaxSafe to talk with a local Wintrust banker today. That's 833-MaxSafe. Peace of mind is just a phone call away. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp Banks. Member FDIC. See FDIC.gov for deposit insurance coverage rules.
One of the most important decisions you can make as a parent is where you send your kids to school. But these days, it's never been harder to know which school is best. Public schools have changed a lot, and you might be thinking about sending your child to a private Christian school. But you also know that private school can be expensive, and in this economy, you might think it's not an option. Well, think again. With halfpriceschools.com, you can purchase tuition vouchers for half the price of normal tuition for private schools. For nearly 10 years, halfpriceschools.com has helped families from all over Chicagoland make the dream of private school a reality. And that can be the reality for you and your child too. Just go to halfpriceschools.com, search for a private Christian school near you, and purchase a voucher. It's that easy. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
relief factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
All right. Does your business have a problem that needs fixing? Whether you need to change your financial picture, strengthen your leadership team, or help with IT management, Turnkey has solutions. Hey, make Turnkey your small business partner and get ready to streamline success. Inflation, economic downturn don't have to have an impact on your business with the right partner. So now until September 30th, get this. Turnkey is offering the first and last month of services at no cost. Yes, for free. That's right. Sign on with Turnkey for any of their IT or business solutions, and your first and last months are free. You'll save hundreds or even thousands of dollars. With decades of C-suite experience from their consulting team to over 25 years of managed IT services, Turnkey knows small business. They share your values. They know how to reduce your costs, grow your new revenue streams, and more without having to hire on-site professionals. There's still time, folks, to make an impact the second half of the year. Let Turnkey show you how. Turnkey is Chicago's small business champion. Visit turnkey.pro and start a conversation today. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
There it is.
There you go.
Oh, boy, it brings me back.
Young Dan Prof jumping up and down at the
I can't believe I
horizon.
forgot to ask Carrie Gress the question I wanted to ask.
What question?
She's probably uniquely qualified to answer it. It's a question that bedevils me and society generally.
Yeah.
Why aren't women funny?
Oh,
I wish I would have asked her that. Maybe she would have some sort of comprehensive explanation why that's so.
We are funny. Okay, it's 7 a.m. WIND Chicago.
1,000 people still unaccounted for in Hawaii. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 55 others are confirmed dead in the wildfire disaster.
There were no alerts. There was no emergency sounds.
She lost everything with her Maui home burned down. Fox Weather's Max Gordon is there, says Lahaina is gone, just smoldering ruins.
The fire destroyed more than 1,000 buildings in Lahaina and damaged the town's famous banyan tree, the once peaceful island paradise, now described as if looking like a war zone.
There will be active recovery over the coming days and weeks of the bones of those who have been lost.
And Governor Josh Green says
it is going to take many years to rebuild Lahaina.
Thousands are in shelters. There's a hearing today in the third Trump criminal case over attempts to overturn the 2020 election. The special counsel is asking the judge for a protective order to limit what the former president can say about witnesses and evidence.
Special counsel Jack Smith saying it's to prevent the case from being tried in the media. Former president says the mere filing of the motion proves this case is all about election interference. Special counsel also asking for a January 2nd trial date. That's just 2 weeks before the Iowa caucuses.
Fox's Jack Callahan. Tim Scott has signed the required Republican Party pledge to back whoever the nominee is to qualify for the first debate later this month, joining Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Doug Burgum, who've all met all the fundraising and polling criteria as well. Former President Trump has said he will not sign that pledge. His ex-VP Mike Pence just told Fox Digital he will sign it. 5 Americans jailed in Iran have been moved to home detention as the U.S. readies a prisoner swap. And Fox's Kevin Cork reports.
The U.S. has also agreed to unfreeze nearly $6 billion of Iran's assets currently in South Korea, transferring the funds into an account into the Central Bank of Qatar.
Despite that, Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. is not easing nuclear sanctions on Iran. America's listening to Fox.
Good morning. It's 72 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. President Biden is surging federal resources to Hawaii as deadly wildfires ravage Maui and other areas.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately.
The president approved a major disaster declaration which frees up federal money for the state. While speaking from Utah, Biden says he's working to ensure that Hawaii has all the help it needs as the head of FEMA will be on the ground soon. The president also ordered all available federal assets to support the response, including the U.S. Coast Guard and the Navy's Third Fleet. The 2023 Illinois State Fair is underway. Fair manager Rebecca Clark was joined by Governor Pritzker and other state officials yesterday to celebrate the opening of the fair.
Explore our 366-acre fairgrounds, where more than 200 amazing vendors and 17 hours of daily entertainment awaits.
The fair runs through August 20th. The annual event takes place at the fairgrounds in Springfield and features food, exhibits, contests, music, and more. An investigation is underway after a 3-year-old child died aboard a bus of asylum seekers headed to Chicago. The Illinois Department of Public Health says the child died yesterday while the bus was entering the Chicago area. No further details have been released. News is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile or text the word app to 64636. A check of the roadways coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Join John Anthony, host of Black and Right, for a cruise on Lake Michigan on Saturday, September 9th. Come aboard the luxury yacht Free Spirit for a fun afternoon with fellow AM 560 listeners. Enjoy great food and beverages and be a part of the live broadcast of Black and Right with John Anthony. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cruise. That's 560theanswer.com/cruise.
Now, I've told you about how Relief Factor helped me with my aches and pains. Let me tell you about Haven in Texas. Haven writes, I'm taking Relief Factor from my shoulder and lower back, and it works. No more pain. My husband started taking Relief Factor for his upper back and hip and didn't think it was working until he ran out and realized the pain was coming back. Relief Factor just works. We are so happy it's working for you and your husband like it does for thousands of others across America. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free solution developed by doctors to help your body attack the underlying inflammation causing pain. What activity would you like to be doing again? Your first step to becoming pain-free could just be to order the 3-week Quick Start for only $19.95. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's 800-4RELIEF. Live your best life and feel the difference with Relief Factor.
Have you lost Illinois Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's summertime, and you want to keep the shop, warehouse, and other doors open for ventilation. Air circulation improves the well-being of your employees and customers, but open doors can let in the uninvited, like strangers, birds, rodents, and bugs. Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. can help solve the problem with a full line of commercial screen door products designed with these specific problems in mind. Call Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. now. Also, regular scheduled maintenance is the key, and Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. has multiple levels of maintenance programs for your company's needs and budget. They'll ensure your doors, grills, gates, and dock equipment are working to specification to increase the useful life of your doors. Visit their website to see a range of products and services at industrialdoor.com. Call anytime, 847-258-5620. Their team will be there to assist in designing a solution that works best for you. Since 1982, the Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. takes care of your doors so you can take care of business.
From the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads. All SIP 115th closed between Central and Mayfield due to a crash. Southbound 53 at Higgins, there is an accident on the exit ramp, so heads up for that as well. As we head in on the Edens, that is delay-free. The inbound Kennedy, 35 minutes. In from O'Hare to the Jayburn Interchange, express lanes tight from the Edens to Diversey. Also on the Eisenhower, 35 in, not too bad, 390 in, but there is a crash right near First Avenue in the left lane. As you head out on the Eisenhower, that's starting to back up as well at 31. Stevenson inbound side 30 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Going in on the Dan Ryan, 15 minutes, 95th on in. Those express lanes, though, tight 43rd to 31st. Now, there is a crash off on Ryan at 31st. Traffic is a service of Fox Valley Coins, currently buying all gold and silver bars and coins, silver dollars, rare date proof, and mint sets. Visit foxvalleycoins.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Sun and clouds, breezy and humid. A morning thunder shower today, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm in the area. High today 84. Partly cloudy, humid, strong thunderstorm around tonight. Low 70. Sun, patchy clouds, very nice tomorrow. The high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You want to meet Disney's Dylan Mulvaney?
Oh, I saw that yesterday. Ugh.
Disney, first of all, they're hiking their prices if you have a subscription to Disney. I don't know why you would, particularly if you have children. You want to keep Disney away from your children these days. The subscription will go to $14 a month. It was only $7 a month 3 years ago.
Yep, they're doubling it. Yep.
Well, you know, they're
desperate because they're losing subscribers.
They're struggling, except with the international parks. Anyway, this may be why they're struggling, but it doesn't really concern them because this goes unabated. They will not course correct. Should tell you something. Their Dylan Mulvaney is a dude named Sean Altman. And he's a TikTok influencer. Of course he is. Yeah. And he's a Walt Disney influencer.
Of course he is.
In their camp. And he posted a fun video of his tribute to Disney where he gets all gussied up like Minnie Mouse.
Let's get dressed. Today we're looking at the most iconic friend group, Disney's Mickey and Friends. And the character most like me is Minnie Mouse. And I have the most perfect dress to start the look. It even has little Mickeys on it, and I love how bold of a red it is. It's just like Minnie. I'm thinking of layering a fun collar, like this one, just to give it a little more flair. But now I feel like the dress needs more shape, so let's add this white petticoat under it. It's so fun to move in, and I love how it peeks out at the bottom. And to add even more shape, this belt should do the trick. Now for hair, I'm thinking of doing space buns. So let's pull out my hair donuts, and just like that, it kinda looks like I have Minnie ears. And Minnie wears gloves, so I need gloves. I'm also gonna add this watch with Minnie and all her friends on it. It's so cute. But now, to be as bold as Minnie, I need a bold red lip. It's a classic, and it's so pretty. Now, let's add some black tights and pull out the iconic yellow pump. I'm just like Minnie Mouse. But wait, something's missing. I know. How could I forget? A giant red bow, the biggest fashion statement. And now, the look is complete. I literally look like Minnie Mouse, and I fit in perfectly with Mickey and his friends. The bow, with the dress and the shoes, really sealed the deal. Now I'm fashionable, bold, and fun, just like Minnie Mouse.
Coming to a library or grade school student assembly near you, Sean Altman.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. I'm just offended that he took that job away from a woman. Well, or a young lady, Disney lover.
First of all, there's nothing that is more family-friendly than a grown man pretending to be a prepubescent girl and dressing up accordingly. There's nothing creepy about that. right?
It's getting access to children. It's young pedophiles in the making, I think. And same with Dylan Mulvaney when he is romping around in a room in pink pajamas trying to have sleepovers. And he's a grown man trying to hang out with children, your children.
Well,
don't they see what's happening here?
It's not even about your children. It is in the sense that this is just more of the onslaught. It just waves. It comes in waves and waves and waves, and it's not going to stop.
Well, why does Disney think they're untouchable?
And there's no amount of boycotting that's going to change that. It's not going to change it. They will not course correct.
Even though Disney Plus lost 12.5 million subscribers in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm. They got a long way to go. Now, the flip side, something else that will continue unabated, perhaps with the exception of litigation in particular jurisdictions. And I can't wait to hear if this surprises anyone. Federal lawsuit filed Tuesday by the religious liberty group Beckett Law on behalf of Mike and Kitty Burke in Massachusetts claims the state restricted them from fostering children in Massachusetts due to their adherence to Catholic teachings on gender, sexuality, and marriage. The couple said in a statement, after months of interviews and training, and after years of heartbreak, we were on the verge of finally becoming parents. We were devastated to learn that Massachusetts would rather children sleep in the hallways of hospitals than let us welcome children in need into our home. The suit claims the state listed one reason for denying the Burke's foster application. Guess what it is?
They're Christians?
Well, right. But the implication of their belief in Catholic teachings on gender, sexuality, and marriage in the state's eyes would be they would not be affirming to a child who identified as LGBTQIA. That was why they can't be foster parents in Massachusetts, because they would not be affirming in the eyes of the state to a child who identified as LGBTQIA, two-spirit, blah, blah, blah. Surprised by that?
Sad.
Bill in Cape Coral, Florida. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. By the way, Cape Coral, Florida, interesting story.
Oh, I saw that yesterday.
That this is the #1 destination for Chicagoans, is Cape Coral, Florida. So be on the lookout, Bill. Make sure they pass muster.
Yeah, more are coming your way.
Yeah, I run into it, but you know what else they did over there? They just started their first low-income building just north of Veterans Highway there because it's getting too expensive to live there, so they're building some low-income buildings. But anyways, Michael Jackson was the king of sleepovers, wasn't he? He was the king of popping children sleeping over.
Oh, yeah, he had unlimited access to certain children because of his fame and celebrity. Uh-huh.
Yep. Crazy people.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Yeah, big fan of the cosplay, too, because this is all chalked up to just, people cosplay. It's fun, it's silly, it's innocent.
Oh, yeah. People
so, on the one hand, Sean Altman, Dylan Mulvaney, all of the other examples you've seen of scantily clad men
trying to play with younger kids,
performing sexual dances and so forth in front of kids, in addition to all of this sort of attempt to normalize adult males behaving like young girls.
We don't all act like that.
And on the other, I'm aware. No. And on the other end, you have a faithful Catholic couple in Massachusetts who is being prohibited by the state from fostering children. But the state's the great protector of children, I thought. By the way, just as an aside, how long this has been going on, if this is news to you, is here in Illinois, this story. The Catholic Diocese of Springfield, Peoria, and Joliet have filed suit in Sangamon County, seeking a court ruling that they do not have to place foster children with unmarried couples, including those in civil unions. Does anybody remember that story? No. 312-642-5600, turnkey.princeline. Nobody remembers that story. The Catholic Charities provide services to married heterosexual couples and single people who are not cohabitating. We believe they provide the best environments for children, said a spokesman for Catholic Charities at the time. Catholic Charities of the Springfield Diocese, to be specific. That was in 2011. And that was when then Attorney General Lisa Madigan, Daddy's little girl, went after Catholic adoption agencies. What was the result of that? A story just a little bit later in June of 2011. Illinois bishops announced shutdown of adoption services. Bishops in 3 dioceses announced they have dropped their lawsuit against the state, will shut down their adoption and foster care programs after civil union law required them to provide their services to same-sex couples.
But we don't hear about that anywhere else than here.
But we just wanted civil unions. We just want civil unions, then we'll stop. We just want this, then we'll stop. We just want to impose our beliefs on you, a Catholic adoption service provider, then we'll stop. We just want to redefine marriage, and then we'll stop. We just want to redefine gender, and then we'll stop. We just want grown men pretending to be little girls to have access to children, and then we'll stop. Then we just want Catholic couples. We got the Catholic adoption services, adoption providers. We got them out of the business of providing adoption services. Now we just want to make sure no Catholics can adopt kids. You see the progression? No, I mean no Catholics who believe in things like, man and woman marriage as it was historically understood until 5 minutes ago. You see the progression again? The continuum we're on, consistent with what we were talking about with Carrie Gress last hour. Go back to read Marcuse and read Reich in the first 20 years, 25 years of the 20th century, and then read Carrie Gress's book talking about all those feminists she named, and fold in Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood, and just think about the way this goes one step to the next. Every time, all the while, this is all we want. Just, out of fairness, out of equality, out of inclusivity. Is that inclusive? Did you think it would come to that a decade ago where Catholic couples couldn't adopt or foster kids because they're Catholic? I wonder how that sits in the sort of working class enclaves in Boston, where there's a bunch of tough guys, just like there's a bunch of tough guys in Chicago and Chicagoland. Yeah, right. And they just steamrolled you every step of the way. You bought it. People bought it. Oh, come on. What is it? What harm is it to you? What is it? Why, if you're against gay marriage redefinition, then don't get gay married. So intelligent were the rationalizations. So blind were so many, including on the center right, including in the intellectual set, the Jonah Goldbergs of the world, who've now morphed into never Trumpers. Very interesting, too. Start to give up on the cultural issues. And it's funny because Trump's hardly a social conservative, really. Sort of been directed that way because of the political realities that he sees, but not a movement, social, cultural conservative for all his life, not really until his presidency. And we appreciate that. It's what you do. But I'm just saying, I just don't understand. Busy lives and so on and so forth. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to process what you see and say, what are the implications of this? Where could this go? Is it, it doesn't affect me right now, so it never will? What kind of thinking is that? Brian in Western Springs. Brian in Western Springs.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. Thank you. Good morning to you both. I apologize.
That's right.
I just wanted to say that in general, from my perspective, mankind is selfish and lazy. And the Christian church encourages us to be less selfish, and capitalism incentivizes us to be less lazy. And the left, for some reason, is out to destroy both.
Yeah,
Love
that's
your
right.
show. Have
Thanks,
a great day.
Thanks for the call, Brian. Appreciate it. What did Hobbes say? Without government, life would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. What is it with government, exactly?
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a very, very skeptical person, so I think even if it had started working sooner, I was like, no, it can't be just balance of nature. Till I finally gave in and said, you know what? I think it's the balance of nature. So somebody will say, oh, I noticed this, or you look really good today, or you such and such, and I go, I know, it's the balance of nature. I have fingernails that I've never had before. They're long and they're strong and they're wow.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
All right. Some rain coming our way today. How's your basement and crawl space going to do? The best time to call our friends at Permaseal to get that fixed is between storms, but they're always here. They always have crews out there on the streets. They've been around for 41 years for a reason, because they're good at what they do, and they're a most trusted contractor for basement and foundation repairs and for water seepage. So the number to call, 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-7325. You can rely on an honest, accurate, and free evaluation from Permaseal's trained experts. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL, or online at permaseal.net.
Are you considering a unique way to enhance your investment knowledge this year? Then sign up today for the all-inclusive Eagle Financial Publications Cruise. Along with our trusted partner, The Money Show, we're setting sail this December to explore some of the most beautiful and unspoiled destinations in the Caribbean. But this is no ordinary vacation. It's a chance to learn from top Eagle financial experts like best-selling authors George Gilder, Mark Skousen, and others who will be hosting a series of workshops and seminars throughout the trip. Imagine lounging on the sun deck while discussing investment strategies with like-minded individuals, or enjoying a gourmet dinner at the same table with one of our leading financial authorities. This once-in-a-lifetime cruise is a perfect way to combine education and relaxation to achieve your investment goals. This cruise will sell out quickly, so visit EagleFinancialCruise.com today to learn more and to secure your cabin. That's EagleFinancialCruise.com. Eagle Financial is a division of Salem Media Group.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-57-BIBLE. That's 844-57-BIBLE. 844-57-BIBLE.
Inflation is crippling American families, and the current administration sure isn't doing you any favors. It's times like these you need to find ways to spend less wherever you can. One easy way is switching your wireless service to Pure Talk. That's right, veteran-owned Pure Talk is wireless for Americans by Americans. Instead of wasting their money on thousands of retail stores you'll never go into, famous actors you don't care about, or expensive perks you'll never use, they just want to save you money. In fact, Pure Talk saves the average family almost $1,000 a year, and the coverage is great. The most dependable 5G network in the U.S. You can get unlimited talk, text, and plenty of high-speed data for just $30 a month. If you're ready to cut your wireless bill in half, dial pound 250 and say keyword spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, dial pound 250 and say spend less, and make the switch to Pure Talk today.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. Flashback a few decades and divorce was a big deal, a very big deal. Passed through the next few decades and society renegotiated divorce and made it a matter of routine. But conservatives must see this for what it is, a subversion of society itself. No civilization can survive the breakdown of its most basic unit, which is marriage as the lifelong union of a man and a woman. Even with divorce now seen as routine, a marital breakdown can still make news. Just days ago, Canadians were jolted by the news that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his wife Sophie are separating. Mrs. Trudeau has moved out of the official residence, and the couple's 3 children will spend most of the time with their father. Trudeau's father was also Prime Minister. He was similarly liberal and also divorced. Trudeau has written of his own pain in the divorce of his parents. This is a tragedy for all, and especially for their children. Civilization itself is a casualty. I'm Albert Mohler.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu. AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I think we've found the anthem for the Republican Party, whoever the nominee for president is, maybe particularly if it's Trump. This comes to us from Oliver Anthony. He resides in Farmville, Virginia, with his 3 dogs. He's got a plot of land he plans on turning into a small farm to raise livestock. But he's a country sort of bluegrass-type musician as well. He's got a great voice. And this song that he recorded, outside, by the way, interesting, is making the rounds. Rich Men North of Richmond.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men know the rich men. I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, Wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men know the rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for both pay.
Oliver Anthony, the rich men north of Richmond, living in the new world with an old soul. I think Neil Young better move over. I think you've got a new singer laureate for the working man, Oliver Anthony.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Why aren't female victims of domestic violence told the best way to protect themselves? Carrie Sloan, ED for Education at the Crime Prevention Research Center, joins us at 7:37 to tell us why.
But first, let's check in the newsroom. Nikki Whaley in for Mike Scott. Good morning.
Good morning. It's 72 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. President Biden is calling on Congress for $24 billion for Ukraine, but some congressional Republicans have been hesitant about putting any more money towards Ukraine's efforts as the war continues. A CNN poll released last week found 55% of Americans believe Congress should not authorize additional funding. The Illinois Supreme Court is expected to rule today on the state's assault weapons ban. The state's high court is deciding whether the ban is constitutional. Governor Pritzker signed the Protect Illinois Community Act in January in response to the deadly July 4th shooting in Highland Park last year. The measure bans the sale of military-style weapons and high-capacity magazines in the state. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to block the law statewide in May. News is a service of Cabino Environmental, an expert that can come and clean up that oil or fuel spill. Their environmental response team will come to the rescue, serving all of Illinois and now southeast Wisconsin and Milwaukee. Get help now at cabinoenvironmental.com. Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
Hi folks, Sebastian Gorka here. Are you worried about investing in the stock market, especially with Joe Biden in office? Do you really trust this economy? What if you could invest in a secure, collateralized portfolio with a high fixed rate of return that's not correlated to the stock market or the Fed? A portfolio where you'll know what each monthly statement will look like with no surprises. Your interest is compounded daily, you're paid monthly, and there are no fees. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose. And get this, there is absolutely no loss of principal if you ever need your money back. Just go to Invest Y Refi. That's invest, the letter Y, then refi.com, or call 888-Y-REFI-24. You can earn a fixed rate of return of up to 10.25%. Just call 888-Y Refi 24 or go to investYrefi.com and tell them Dr. G sent you.
I tell you, I get no respect. So I walk into a coin shop with silver bullion for sale when the owner says, "You look like you don't have two coins to rub together." I say to him, "Bullion." He orders me to quit cussing, tosses me out the door, and I land cheeks down on my 10-pound bullion bars. Ouch! My rear end is still black and blue.
You should have come to Fox Valley Coins, where we treat every customer with respect, buying or selling. Whether you're liquidating a collection to pay the rent or trading unwanted collectible coins, currency, and bullion for extra folding money, Fox Valley Coins is happy to see you. We also pay top dollar for scrap gold and sterling at Fox Valley Coins, the Midwest's premier coin company. Open 6 days a week, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Check us out at foxvalleycoins.com. Over 40 years of family-owned integrity. That's foxvalleycoins.com.
I'd get my butt down there, but the doctor warned me to take it easy for a week. Oh.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads still wide open going in on the Edens, the Kennedy, a 30-minute ride in from O'Hare to the Jane Byrne interchange. It is heavy going in on the Eisenhower at 38, 390 into downtown, and that is because of a crash right near First Avenue. Starts backing up at Wolf. That is in the left lane, so avoid that if you can. Of course, you're seeing a gaper's delay outbound as well, Central to First at 40 minutes out to 390. Stevenson in 28 minutes, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Outbound Stevenson, there's debris on the left shoulder at Willow Springs. Heads up for that. Inbound Ryan, 15 minutes. Outbound, a crash at 31st in the locals. You're seeing delays into that scene as well. Scattered delays along DuSable Lakeshore Drive northbound. Traffic is a service of MyPillow. Big news, the MyPillow employees want to thank you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen size MyPillows, regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98 with promo code Amy. Visit MyPillow.com and use promo code Amy. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Breezy, humid day, clouds and some sun, a morning thunder shower, and then an afternoon thunderstorm, high 84. Partly cloudy, humid, strong thunderstorm tonight, low 70. Sun patchy clouds, very nice day tomorrow, the high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
This is, by the way, one of those songs that Walgreens or 7-Eleven could play to shoo the homeless away. If you put this on a continuous loop, terrible. All right, we're trying not to shoo listeners away here.
You're really coming down hard on George Hoffman, who's for
it's not-
Justin Coast.
I'm not s-
He's in Vegas on his bachelor party.
I'm not saying it's like George's selections here or anything
know,
like
I
that.
think
I'm just
you're ripping on George's selection.
I'm just the music, and I put together bumper music, my personal playlist.
Oh,
which is
really?
outstanding.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm trying to spread the appreciation for the finer things to our listeners. But
You're doing your part. You know what you are? You're stepping up.
all I can do is try. All right. On a more serious note, one of these cases that drew some attention when the crime occurred, but of course people's memories are limited, and particularly with the volume of violent crime in places like Chicago. But there was a sentence handed down in a attempted sexual assault and beating of a young woman who was attacked when she was walking home from a bar in the West Loop. The 26-year-old pleaded guilty to kidnapping by force of threat in exchange for a 5-year sentence this week. 5 years. Pleading out, dropping felonies, including 2 counts of aggravated battery in order to strike this plea deal. Here's what happened. Walking home after drinking at a West Loop bar with a friend, she noticed a man sitting in a car near a stop sign, realized he had begun following her on foot, even across the street when she did. Caught up with her, grabbed her from behind until she screamed and ran away, but he chased her, dragged her into a construction site in the 400 block of North Morgan, threw her to the ground while threatening to kill her, pinned the woman to the ground behind a bulldozer, put his hands on her mouth to muffle her screams. When the woman bit his hand, he punched in the face 3 times while hovering over her. Eventually, and thankfully, she was able to free herself and ran from the site, flagged down a motorist who allowed her to get in the car, called 911, so on and so forth. He was ultimately arrested, and 2 years later, he's been sentenced to 5 years in prison, so he'll be out in three and a half, maybe.
Maybe. Maybe placed on electronic monitoring earlier.
Well, here's the thing about it in Chicago and just generally in life that we say all the time when we talk about crime is that You can listen to the politicians talk public safety all you want, but ultimately, whether you want to confront this reality or not, it's very likely that you will be made responsible for the provision of your own personal safety. And it's more likely in places where prosecutors and politicians, and I repeat myself, have turned the city over to the lawless, to the predators, like this guy I'm describing. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Carrie Sloan. She's the Executive Director for Education at the Crime Prevention Research Center and founder of We the Female, a nonprofit organization created to empower and provide personal security and firearm safety education to women. Carrie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It seems like, I know you wrote recently about domestic violence and protective orders, but it seems like even something as simple as this, where you have a young woman walking home from a bar in the West Loop, and thanks not to the local politicians, but to the Supreme Court, in Illinois, she can get her concealed carry license. She can train so that she's comfortable being able to protect herself if she's forced to. And in this instance, you're not always going to have time, but she had time because she noticed this guy eye-spying her, then following her, and it could have been something as simple as turning on him and brandishing her weapon and saying, "Get away from me," that would have prevented this.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the ideal situation, right? That she is in a position legally to be able to protect herself with a firearm. She's able to draw that weapon, and it scares the predator off, which does happen often. It happened to me, actually, in Seattle once.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I had to draw my firearm sitting in my car, and it scared the crazy homeless guy off. And but at the end of the day, it's also important to understand that you really don't know if you're ready until you're ready. Mm-hmm. And I didn't until after that situation, and I thought, oh my gosh, I would have taken care of that situation. Which is why we train and why we prepare so that we don't freeze in those situations. And again, that being the ideal position, but brandishing in itself that can catch charges for somebody. Somebody can catch charges just simply for that, especially in a place like Chicago.
Well, right. I mean, this is obviously the flip side, and we talk about this all the time just among friends. I'm talking about guys. It's like, I don't want to go to the city because I'm ready to do it if I had to do it. Yeah. But
you don't want to do it.
But I don't want to be in that position because I'm going to be the loser in that. Because, whatever, white guy with a gun in this political climate is going to be the enemy, and unless you have eyewitnesses or it's videoed and so on and so forth. But if it's a he said in a violent confrontation, depending on all sorts of political factors, if you will, you can be on the wrong end of that. So I even put myself in that situation. I'm just staying out of the city, but obviously some people can't do that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that we've been put in a position that's where we are, especially for women, that are, we as women are disproportionately affected by those types of laws and gun control laws in particular because we are physically smaller. I'm no biologist, but last I checked, physically we can't match men, although I do know a few exceptions. Mm-hmm. For the most part, we're not capable. So a firearm.
Amy's a real ass kicker over here. She can take some men apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just met a woman in Brazil that was no joke. So, I mean, somebody, it can happen, but as a general rule, women are not physically capable of matching a man's strength, especially if they're angry, on drugs or what have you, anything that gives them that superpower strength, I call it. And a firearm is truly the best way for a woman to level the playing field to be able to defend herself.
Yeah, but why aren't female victims of domestic violence told this?
That's a great question. Being a domestic violence victim myself, when I sat in my abuser's arraignment, and afterward, after the arraignment was over, and I was talking to the sheriff with literally black and blue fingerprints around my throat where he'd picked me up and thrown me across the room, they looked at me and asked me if I had a place to hide for 4 or 5 days, and I was confused by that. And I said, well, yes, but why? And they said, because the chances of violence escalating after, clearly it's my fault he went to jail, because I called and put him in jail. That's their mentality, abuser mentality. the chances of violence escalating is going to be greater. So therefore, they wanted me to hide. Nowhere did they tell me in any capacity to take, the opportunity to learn how to defend myself.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
And
did he come after you, or did you hide?
He stalked me afterward. I had the sociopathic type abuser where he was able to manipulate the system and blamed me for having to take a second job as a pizza delivery driver, which conveniently happened to be his delivery area was where I owned a condo, so that he could watch my movement.
And so is that what motivated you to get involved with start this nonprofit in particular, but get involved with crime prevention generally?
For me personally, yes, that was what helped me realize that nobody was going to be able to defend me but me, and that I was on my own, and that clearly, even in the best case, even if I'd had the ideal situation, support from law enforcement, they were never going to get there on time. It took them over 10 minutes to get to me when the sheriff's department was less than 2 minutes away. So that was the aha for me. But getting into this as an advocate and an educator, that started after laws were passed in Washington State that would make it even harder for a domestic abuse victim to be able to obtain a firearm to defend herself.
And it's and in terms of like not being advised by law enforcement, you may want to think about if you don't already have a gun, or you haven't already been licensed in the Illinois context and feel comfortable using a gun to protect yourself, you may want to think about that. The reason that that is not said, you think, when women get protective orders or in situations like yours, is what, just the politics of it, even with law enforcement?
I think so. At the end of the day, the two biggest pawns for gun control are children and domestic abuse victims. We see that, in proposed legislation all the time, red flag laws being a big one, Violence Against Women Act, and so on. And, at the end of the day, politicians can't exert control or profit from survivors.
When you train women on personal security, firearm safety, what are the biggest hurdles that you think people need to get over? I mean, like the hurdle to come and pursue this in the first place, and then the hurdle when they're going through training, such that they can, if they do it successfully and then get to a comfort level, they can be ambassadors for other women to do the same.
Sure. We have a saying in my organization, particularly because we focus on abuse victims and survivors like myself, is that sometimes we have to help women understand their lives are worth saving before we can teach them how to save them. And oftentimes, there's, on the conservative leaning side of this, there's always the argument, or that, facts over feelings. Well, that's actually not true. Particularly when you're dealing with women, the most effective way that I have found to metaphorically push that button for women to realize they need to defend themselves is to touch them emotionally. We're emotional creatures, women, and when they realize how this could affect them personally, or more importantly, how learning to defend themselves can help them protect their babies. Now we have a personal reason why women want to embrace self-defense, and that's when we can really see the change in them, and as well as becoming advocates for self-defense.
Well, and I assume, your story and perhaps the stories of other people who've either defended themselves in a hairy situation or were victims and then, got prepared to provide for their personal safety. I assume those stories are powerful too, in terms of persuasive capacity.
Yes, I'm very open about sharing my story. A lot of women aren't, and it's unfortunate. So I find that the more I get out and share my story, I encourage the next woman to, and then she encourages the next woman to, and it has that chain reaction. But women are scared to for all kinds of reasons, and sometimes it's simply the fact that they're still being stalked or having to deal with their ex or their abuser in some capacity, and that keeps them quiet so that they don't have to deal with the repercussions, unfortunately.
All right. She is Carrie Sloan, Executive Director for Education at the Crime Prevention Research Center, founder of We the Female, which is a nonprofit that was created to both empower and provide personal security and firearm safety education to women. More information on We the Female at wethefemale.net. That's the website, right? wethefemale.net?
Yes, it is.
All right. WeTheFemale.net, Carrie Sloan. Thanks so much for joining us, Carrie. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When this is the sound of a waterfall in nature, there's no cause for concern. But when it's the sound of water gushing through your living room ceiling because a pipe bursts inside the wall, there's reason to panic unless you pick up the phone and call 1-800-SERVPRO. Only the cleanup and restoration specialists at ServPro can help make fire and water damage like it never even happened. So make the call to 1-800-SERVPRO at the first sign of water damage. Franchises are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Test Director Rick from ServPro, the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction. It's my job to make sure our pros are prepared for anything. Storm damage? Fixed. Flood damage? We're on it. Fire damage? Not anymore. Aliens? What aliens? We cleaned those sites a while ago. No matter the disaster, our pros will make it like it never even happened. Find out why ServPro is the #1 choice for residential and commercial restoration projects, large and small. Visit servpro.com today.
Are you a business owner with a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, and a plan for growth, but you just need the right bank? Hi, Mike Gallagher here, letting you know that Signature Bank is all about going the distance for commercial banking customers. It's what Signature Bank does every day. Their team understands that accessibility is key to their culture. In times like these, you want a bank that is there for you to weather the bad times and capitalize on the good. And with Signature Bank by your side, you can't go wrong. It's a true partnership. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right. I'm a customer. I believe in what they have to offer, from innovative tech and customized solutions to help your business grow and thrive. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
All right, I'm doing it in about 10 minutes. Taking balance of nature. Why? Do not get enough fruits and veggies on my own. Do not eat a well-balanced diet. Spend all that money buying fruits and vegetables that unfortunately sat and rotted in the refrigerator over the summer. Good intention, but bad decision. Instead, I'd rather spend my money on balance of nature. 6 capsules a day, and you have increased energy, ability to keep doing the things you love even as you age. So get your health back. Take charge. No one's going to take care of you but you. The number to call, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago, or simply go online to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Sean Thompson here for my friend Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group. There aren't many people who would knowingly leave their job to start another job for a 30% cut in pay. And yet, people do it every day when they enter retirement. Why enter the exciting new chapter of your life with less money? Why trade the stress of work for more stress in retirement? Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group can help. Just call Tom at 630-934-1855 for your complimentary, customized retirement. It addresses many of the big questions you may have, like what to do about Social Security, managing your investments, and how to create income you can never outlive. You can downsize your house, but don't downsize your lifestyle. Get a complimentary, customized retirement plan at 630-934-1855 or visit alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, an SEC registered investment advisor. RWA and Alpha Wealth Group are independent of each other. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
Attention, your money is now controlled by the U.S. government.
Picture a world where your every purchase is monitored, tracked, and controlled by those in power to suppress the freedoms of those they see fit. Hi, my name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. And right now, I've become very focused on the impending rollout of the central bank digital currency. This is not a work of fiction. It's a terrifying reality looming on the horizon. But there is a bit of good news. I've partnered with Advantage Gold to offer you a solution. They are specialists in converting your traditional assets, like those inside an IRA or 401k, into tangible assets such as physical gold and silver. Don't allow your money to be controlled. Claim your free gold protection kit from Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000, 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor.
Call 800-900-8000.
Are you looking for fair news coverage out of the nation's capital? Join the Center Square's editor-in-chief Dan McCaleb and DC Bureau Chief Casey Harper as they discuss all things coming out of Washington, D.C.
And as you said, I did a fact check on this because I really found it pretty misleading. Gas prices, yes, are down. But if you look at food prices, they increased.
No spin, just the news. Listen to the America in Focus podcast at americastalking.com or wherever you get your podcast.
At SimpliSafe, we've designed award-winning home security with advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Is this on your playlist, Dan? Bumper play music list?
I mean, I like Falco, okay, but... Did you see this? I got a side hustle for you. The King of Queens is getting a pretty big upgrade. The 5-year deal that UPS struck with the Teamsters Union means the average UPS driver...
How much?
Salary and benefits, $170,000 a year.
Wow. Are you serious?
Serious. $102,000 in salary is how it breaks out, with the rest made up in benefits. You know, the $43 an hour to $49 an hour burden wage. Yeah. 170 grand, 102 salary salary, and the other in health care and pension benefits. 170 grand. I mean, I'm good for them. I'm all for everybody making as much money as they can. But, yeah, wow. How about that? And it doesn't seem like they're going to be poised to be replaced by those Amazon drones anytime soon. Not with that kind of money agreed to.
The union will never let that
You
happen.
could do that. You could do an afternoon route after the show.
I know. I just don't look good in brown. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Georgia Representative Misha Maynor, who switched parties from the Dems to the Republican, 808.
It's now 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Fifth year, more victims are in Hawaii's charred wildfire ruins. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 1,000 people still unaccounted for. 55 are confirmed dead.
It does appear like a bomb and fire went off.
Governor Josh Green says Lahaina's gone. The town burnt down, over 1,000 houses and buildings destroyed.
All of those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new Lahaina that Maui builds.
Amanda Cassidy's upset. They got no warning, no alerts, telling Fox.
The fire started just behind my house, maybe a half a block away.
She had only minutes to leave and has nothing to go back to.
We lost everything. My house is flattened. There's nothing to go back to. I lost 2 vehicles, a moped.
Thousands of residents now in shelters. More than 10,000 tourists have left the island. More Republicans are signing the required party pledge to back whoever the nominee is to qualify for the first debate in 12 days. Tim Scott joins 4 others signing it. Former Vice President Mike Pence just told Fox Digital he'll also sign it the day after saying at the Iowa State Fair.
The former president asked me to
choose him over my oath to the Constitution. I chose the Constitution, and I always will.
Defending not blocking President Biden's election certification the day of the Capitol riot, January 6th. The former president's been criminally charged for trying to stop that. And there's a hearing today as the special counsel asks the judge for a protective order to limit Trump comments about evidence and witnesses. He claims they're trying to silence him.
Next week, the attorneys representing former President Trump on charges of conspiring to overturn the 2020 election are expected to object to the government's proposal that the trial be held on January 2nd, less than 2 weeks before the Iowa caucuses. The former president objected to the idea in a post on Truth Social, saying the trial should only take place after the 2024 election, quote, if at all.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. We just got another inflation update showing prices on the wholesale level rose a bit more than expected last month, up 0.3%. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 74 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. The Salvation Army is asking for donations and volunteers in Hawaii as they deliver meals to those impacted by the fires on Maui, including up to 2,000 people at shelters.
We've done meals up to about 2,000 on a regular basis through all the shelters together. First thing is safety and sustenance. The reality is these type of disasters, they take a while to actually process.
That's Major Troy Trimmer with the Salvation Army in Hawaii asking for large volume meals from restaurants and certified kitchens, but they unfortunately can't accept small private home prepared meals because of safety standards. A list of volunteer opportunities and a way you can donate can be found online at hawaii.salvationarmy.org. Authorities are investigating after a 6-year-old child was shot in suburban Crest Hill. Police say the shooting happened yesterday in the 1400 block of Pioneer Road while the child was a passenger in a vehicle. The victim was taken to the hospital and he's in stable condition. Investigators believe the shooting was targeted and not random. So far, no arrests have been made. The Bears are changing their primary logo. On their website, the team listed the bear head logo as their primary mark, with the C logo being designated as their secondary mark. Team officials say that the change has nothing to do with a potential move outside of Chicago. The uniforms and midfield logo will remain the same. News is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and The Sean Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes, but now time for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Spectrum Brands, parent company of Remington, Black & Decker, and George Foreman Products, is reporting better than expected earnings, though it says sales declined 10% in the period, partly because of cool and rainy weather that impacted its products used outdoors. Cruise and Waymo have received approval from the California Public Utilities Commission to expand self-driving vehicles in San Francisco. It will also be able to charge for rides at all times. Before the expansion can happen, the companies will need to address concerns from city officials, law enforcement, and first responders. UBS is ending the support the Swiss government provided for it to absorb troubled bank Credit Suisse. It's concluded the support is no longer needed. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka sees the story changing again.
He denied what? That he's ever discussed his son's business dealings with Hunter Biden. Never discussed them. Now, it's suddenly what? He was never in business with his son.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
There are more than 50 million people enslaved in the world today. Most of them are women and children.
They lock you in cellars or in rooms with no windows. 95% of girls that are born in the brothels remain trapped in the brothels for the rest of their lives.
SOS International is working to make freedom possible for these women and kids. And with your help, today can be the day another victim comes into freedom.
By the hundreds, we are saving those girls and bringing them to a secure a place that is a safe home for them to grow in.
Just $150 makes freedom possible for a trafficking victim. It provides shelter, food, counseling, everything they need to start a new life. Make freedom possible now. Visit 560theanswer.com/SOS. Every day that goes by is another day of suffering and abuse. But you can change it now. You can make today the day of freedom and rescue. Learn how you can bring freedom now at 560theanswer.com/SOS.
Now, I've told you about how Relief Factor helped me with my aches and pains. Let me tell you about Haven in Texas. Haven writes, I'm taking Relief Factor from my shoulder and lower back, and it works. No more pain. My husband started taking Relief Factor for his upper back and hip and didn't think it was working until he ran out and realized the pain was coming back. Relief Factor just works. We are so happy it's working for you and your husband like it does for thousands of others across America. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free solution developed by doctors to help your body attack the underlying inflammation causing pain. What activity would you like to be doing again? Your first step to becoming pain-free could just be to order the 3-week Quick Start for only $19.95. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's 800-4RELIEF. Live your best life and feel the difference with Relief Factor.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads in Alsip. 115th remains closed between Central and Mayfield with a crash. Northbound I-65 right near US 30, an accident in the right lane. Also seeing a crash eastbound 80 at Larkin Avenue, just west of it, and that is in the left lane. Elsewhere, Eden's going in looks great. The Kennedy 40 minutes in from O'Hare to downtown, and the inbound Eisenhower 45, 390 to the post office. The crash at First Avenue is off to the side. There is a gapers delay outbound right near there, 45 minutes on out. Stevenson in 25, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Solid on the inbound Dan Ryan at 25, 95th to 69th Street. That is all due to an earlier crash. There are delays on the tollways, only the tri-state though. Traffic is a service of Starcase. When you need to protect your valuable equipment, put it in a Starcase, the most dependable road cases that you can buy, designed and made right here in the Midwest. Go to starcase.com to order your case now. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Sun and clouds, breezy and humid. A morning thunder shower today, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm in the area. High today 84. Partly cloudy, humid, strong thunderstorm around tonight. Low 70. Sun, patchy clouds, very nice tomorrow. The high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We've talked to you before about State Representative Misha Maynor from the Atlanta area there in Georgia. She first came to our attention a few months back when she broke with her fellow State House Democrats in Georgia over the issues of school choice, as well as the provision of funds for migrants as compared to the needs of her constituents. Here's some of what she had to say. This is back in May.
I support school choice, parent rights, and opportunities for children to thrive, especially those that are marginalized and attend a failing school. The Democrats at the Capitol took a hard position and demanded every Democrat vote against children and for the teachers union. I voted yes for parents and yes for children, not failing schools. Some of the schools I represent have a 3% reading proficiency, or children can't do simple math. So I have a few colleagues upset with me to the point where they are giving away $1,000 checks to anyone that will run against me. I'm not apologizing because my colleagues don't like how I vote, when my community loves the fact that someone is finally sticking up for them and holding these systems accountable. Let's be real. Parents do not want their child trapped in a failing school. And they aren't frustrated with teachers. They're upset with the elected leaders that put the teachers' union and donors ahead of their constituents. I hear Black Lives Matter, but do they? I see every other minority being prioritized except Black children living in poverty that can't read. We'll send $1 million to the border for immigrant services, but Black communities, not even a shout out. I'm sorry. I don't agree with this. I'm not backing down, and I'm actually just getting started.
And she wasn't kidding, because last month she announced she was leaving the Democrat Party in the state of Georgia and joining the Republican Party. We're pleased to have the opportunity now to speak to Representative Maynor directly. Representative Misha Maynor, Georgia House of Representatives, District 56, Atlanta. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Who is that just speaking? I need to vote for her.
She's very articulate, that woman we just heard. Yeah,
and has a wonderful disposition, too, I heard.
Yeah, how about it? So how has the transition gone? How have you been received by Republicans, and how much acrimony are you getting from Democrats?
Republicans are receiving me well. I've been working with them for the past 3 years to get things done for the community. The Democrats are the same as they always have been. There are a few, Democrat friends that I have that have reached out saying, I understand. There are others that feel just like you. Community supports me. As soon as I made the announcement, they were texting me saying, I don't care what letter is behind your name. But yesterday was really interesting. I was going to do an event at a church, and a member at the church, I called to follow up, and they said, Representative Maynor, our church is Democrat, so we cannot have you anymore. Oh. And I was thinking to myself, did you really speak for the entire church, though?
That's really interesting.
Still.
Also, too, so that's the thing. That's the thing that's really interesting, because you're not the first Black Democrat to switch parties there. Vernon Jones did so to some publicity as well. And even when people switch parties based on these substantive issues, like we just heard you explaining back when you were explaining it, and I'm sure you're continuing to, school choice and support for your constituents, prioritization of resources for your constituents, so many people can't get past the brand labels. There needs to be sort of a rebranding of the Republican Party among Black families. That's still a big job, right?
I think it's a huge job, and I think that, Black culture in general, there are some things that you just cannot be. You cannot be gay, you cannot be a Republican, and you cannot commit suicide. Those are 3 things in the Black community that are absolute no-nos, and that's where we are.
Well, what was the breaking point for you? Were you like, you know what, I'm going to change teams? Or is it cumulative?
I think it's cumulative, because even after the $1,000 checks going up online to get me out of office, I was still saying I don't need to change. The Democrat Party needs to change. I think the breaking point was in March, April. Mm-hmm. In June, July, my colleagues started coming on my social media pages again, saying how I needed to be out of office based on this vote back in March. And I thought to myself, okay, look, why are they so upset with you? I did some thinking, self-reflection. I said, look, if I believe in these policies, then maybe I'm just not a Democrat. And it's really policy, and it's not necessarily party. I fundamentally do not agree with a lot of the policies that they're pushing out.
Well, on school choice, since you mentioned that, and that's such an important one, what's happening in Atlanta, I'm sure, is not dissimilar to what's happening in Chicago and most big cities around the country. These huge centrally planned school systems run by the teachers' unions, as you described, are just not getting the job done in preparing kids for success beyond K through 12, or even in K through 12 and beyond. So what's the rebranding that needs to be done there in the black community among black families? Because it seems to me like in Chicago, I don't know what the demographics are, but the teachers union is not majority minority. So it's not like there's a huge number. I mean, it's a big number in raw numbers, but not as a percentage. It's not like it's some wildly big number of black teachers in the teachers union that are just interested in protecting their jobs. So there's something else going on. Why do black parents who are not otherwise affiliated with the teachers union, why do they tolerate these schools that continue to fail generation after generation?
I cannot speak for Chicago, but I can tell you in Atlanta, parents are not tolerating it. Parents are fed up. I've campaigned on 2 elections on school choice, and the schools are failing, and parents need choices, which was a Republican ideal. They voted for me twice on that. Even with Stacey Abrams putting people in the race and campaigning against me, I still won my last election. So my district, I have the most charter schools, in my district than any other district in the state of Georgia. My parents want change. As far as the teachers unions, many teachers are reaching out to me saying they support school choice too. They feel handcuffed by a broken system. So it's bureaucracy. It's not the teachers. It's not the parents. And local school boards, they have the ability and the power to actually change things. They have the pen to do it.
And what about on the crime issue? Because, of course, Atlanta has been beset by violent crime like so many major cities. And we're seeing from Oakland to Washington, D.C., the NAACP in Oakland, a Democrat city councilman in Washington, D.C., all saying the same thing. We need more police. We need more resources. I mean, the D.C. councilman is calling for the National Guard to come into D.C. So these are black Democrats saying something very different than maybe even they were saying a couple of years ago, that don't defund police, deploy police, and deploy them in our neighborhoods. What's going on in Atlanta? Because I know your former mayor, Keisha Bottoms, was sort of a defund the police, a collaborator.
What I'll say to that is people profit off of ignorance and people not knowing. So you're absolutely right. Years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, Democrats were pushing for defunding the police. Now they understand that that was just some talking points and that backfired. So now Democrats want to say, we never said that. They're on tape saying that they wanted to defund the police. But what's interesting, I was on a radio show here in Atlanta, and the host is a former Democrat leader for the state, and he said, isn't it true, there was a Pew Research study that says the more police that you hire, it actually does not decrease crime. That is not true, and Democrats will say anything to try to get someone that is not knowledgeable to vote for them. And that is another reason why I left the party, because I don't believe in lying to people to get a vote.
And do you see families responding to your message on the topic of public safety the same way they are on school choice?
Absolutely. When it was the vote for us to defund or not defund the police, it didn't matter which community, which socioeconomic group. Everybody was calling me saying, we do not want to defund the police. And people voted for me because I am the outlier when it comes to the Democratic Party, but just towards the middle, not the far other end.
And what about your reelection? Do you know who the Democratic Party is going to throw up against you?
That is yet to be seen. I've heard lots of names, and I'm sure it'll be a big race. So people in Chicago and Orlando and across the world, I hope that you guys go to my website, MishaMaynor.com. As soon as you click on it, there will be a donation link. I do need your support. It's hard going across the system, but I'm up for the fight.
How are you doing it? Are you as Governor Kemp? Is he involved? Is the Republican Party involved? Are you Are you going to campaign with them, or are you going to just say, look, I switched parties, but I'm running my own program here. I'm not affiliated with anybody formally. How are you managing that?
So today is actually 30 days. I announced on July 11th, and in the past 30 days, I've learned that the Republicans have a lot of different sectors, and I'm not associated with any one particular sector. I really want to be a part and help each and every one. That's part of the problem that we have in politics. We're so hyper-politicized by different things. So, yes, I'll be working with Governor Kemp. I have a panel discussion that I'm going to be doing with Kelly Loeffler, Attorney General Chris Carr. I'm doing some work with him. So I really don't care which Republican it is, as long as it's associated with policies that benefit the people I represent.
Fair enough. That's good. It's a good approach. MishaMaynor.com. That's MESHA, Maynor, MAINOR. MishaMaynor.com. State Representative Misha Maynor, Georgia House of Representatives, District 56. Representative Maynor, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time and good continued success in Georgia. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Barbecue bags and brews sound great right about now. But are you really ready to entertain on that dirty, oil-stained driveway or patio? No oil stain removal is too big or too small for Cabino Environmental. Whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, you can use Cabino Oil Stain Remover. It's a safe, effective, and powerful oil stain lifting formula. This is not the same stuff you buy at the big box store. This is a concentrated, all-natural stain lifter that goes deep into the concrete or brick for superior cleaning. Simply pour it on the soiled area, let it dry, and then brush away. Start your cleanup at CabinoEnvironmental.com. The Cabino Environmental Response Team will come to your rescue across Northern Illinois and the Milwaukee area. And you can purchase the Cabino Oil Stain Remover online and have it shipped anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. Can't wait? Cabino Oil Stain Remover is also now available at your local Rental Max.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround, and when it comes to marketing, consider us your personal move you forward company. In a recent study, we found that 53% of local businesses were classified as novices when it came to designing, implementing, and managing their marketing needs. And that's where Salem Surround truly shines. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be. Let us give you an absolutely free audit of your current marketing and what your competition is doing. Our digital sales and support teams are the best in the industry and deliver customized personal service that's second to none.
If you're a local business and ready for the next step, visit surroundchicago.com right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Visit surroundchicago.com today.
Hi, this is Randy Donnelly from Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois. Recently, I saved a woman from being robbed. Her husband had passed away and some of his friends had stopped by to buy his guns. Luckily for her, she heard my commercials and decided to call me before she sold them. I'm happy to report that she received at auction over 4 times the amount she had been offered. It's a simple, easy process. Donnelly Auction holds a federal firearms license and does all the necessary paperwork to sell your guns legally at auction. And we offer free pickup. So call me before you sell them outright because you could be leaving a fortune on the table. And you won't know until you call me at 815-923-7000 or send me an email at donnellyauctions.com. My job is to get you top dollar for your guns and military collections, so call me today at 815-923-7000. I'm Randy Donnelly, and I'll see you at the auction.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
AM 560, The Answer.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
Bring it in, folks.
Yeah, this is speaks to this confusion I have about like Pete Davidson, why these good-looking singers and actresses, or just I don't know, Kardashians like Pete Davidson, because he's just like this gangly, goofy, untalented. I don't think he's funny, dude, and he dates all these,
superstars.
Yeah,
Are you? I sense a little jealous.
No, I'm not jealous.
Okay, envious.
No interested in the Kardashians or any of these other.
Who's he dating? Was he dating a Kardashian?
No, but he was with Kim for a minute, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
who wasn't?
Well, to my point, thank you for saying it, so I didn't have to. But so this New York Post columnist has hit upon something. These people that seem like they're awkward and use celebrities to drive the point home, but they have something that I don't have. And now I understand it. This has really brought home to me. So like
followers on Twitter?
Adam Driver.
Yes.
Great actor. Goofy looking dude.
Yeah, Isn't
he?
It's a very unique look, yes.
Do you think he's attractive?
Not at all.
Right. Exactly. What about Benedict Cumberbatch?
Excuse me?
You think that he's attractive?
No.
What about Javier Bardem?
Javier Bardem.
Great actors. All these are all great actors. What do they have?
No.
You don't like Javier Bardem?
Well, he's not as bad as Adam Driver.
Yeah.
But
what about Adrian Brody?
No.
Yeah, I don't actually think he's that good of an actor either, but I digress. But here's the thing that they have that I don't have. They have
star status and money?
They have those things, but here's the key for like the mere mortals, not these superhumans, because they are good at play acting. So we think they're superhumans. They have the Riz.
What's the Riz?
You haven't been keeping up on what the Riz
what's
is?
the Riz?
This is what all the kids are talking about on TikTok. The Riz. Charisma.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
I dated an ugly guy once, but I dated him because he was funny and the best sense of humor.
He had the Riz.
Would that be considered the Riz?
Well, you dated a competitive eater.
He had some Riz too.
Of course. I mean, when the competition started, the world just stood still. He just commanded that table.
You darn right he did.
Yeah. See, there's these guys that have, just their mannerisms, the way they command a room, the way they conduct their business, if you will, and their business, if you will.
Dan, do you have the Riz?
I don't. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't have it, and I'm.
Are you looking for it?
And I'm, not. Who's like the hot guy for chicks these days? Is it still Antonio Sabato Jr.? I may be a little behind the times. I don't know. Still Spencer Tracy? I don't know. I might.
Cary Grant? He's a looker.
Haven't.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah. So the Riz, this woman who wrote this column is really obnoxious and sort of whorish, but it doesn't mean that what she's saying is untrue. Yeah. So, for example, she wrote, there was a guy who slid into my DMs during lockdown. He was far too old for me and bald as a badger. So when he offered to make cocktails and go for a walk around our local suburb, my bored self thought, sure, he'll make for a good friend, but nothing more. Jump forward a few hours later, and his deep voice, cocky attitude, and complete self-assuredness had me prepared to risk COVID for a bit of sexy time.
Wow.
Have to say, worth it. I tell you. the Riz, it's dangerous. So this is just some middle-aged bald dude that propositioned this chick on I don't know, Instagram or something. And the next thing you know, she meets him, and he's got that Adam Driver swagger.
He's got the Riz. All right. It's time. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I mean, that just ended with a whimper. It just shows you how little Riz I have.
It's bad. You don't think women are funny.
You weren't even
have no Riz.
You weren't even interested in
I'm at my happy place right now.
Yeah, you weren't even interested in it. That's just what I'm talking about. Sad. That's why. All right. Solitary existence for me. 8:38, Open Mic Friday. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, comments, compliments, concerns, general crack pottery. We'll take it all at 8:38.
But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Nikki Whaley in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. It's 74 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. Crews are trying to get a handle on the wildfires raging on the Hawaiian island of Maui. This resident has been on the island for over 18 years.
We just had the worst disaster I've ever seen. All line is burnt to crisp, and it's like an apocalypse.
Hundreds of families are displaced as the fires grow, fueled with strong winds linked by a nearby hurricane. Hospitals report being overrun with burn and smoke inhalation victims. There's widespread power outages and schools are closed. Tourists from across the globe are stranded at airports looking for a flight out. The wind has also ignited fires on the Big Island. An investigation is underway after a 3-year-old child died on board a bus of asylum seekers headed to Chicago. The Illinois Department of Public Health says the child died yesterday while the bus was entering the Chicago area. No further details have been released. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has sent thousands of illegals from Texas to Chicago. News is a service of MyPillow. Big news, the MyPillow employees want to thank you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen size MyPillow's regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98 with promo code Amy. Visit MyPillow.com and use promo code Amy. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Mike Gallagher wants everything on the table.
We better embrace every path that the Democrats embraced in 2020. Mail-in ballots, early voting, ballot harvesting, because guess what? They're beating us using those tools. And that's not going to change.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
My son was saying, Mom, why are you paying so much for this? The supplement store has the exact same thing. And I said, no, they don't. You know, because he was telling me that they have similar products as Balance of Nature. But then when he came over to my house and he looked at the label of the Balance of Nature about all the, ingredients and everything, he realized, oh yeah, this is a superior product.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire?
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated.
To make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence.
Learn principles of income planning.
There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring.
Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560. The Answer.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads northbound 65. Beware of an accident right near US 30. That is in the right lane, and it's pretty heavy into that scene. Going inbound on the Edens, no reported delays. The Kennedy 48 minutes in from O'Hare to downtown. Those express lanes tightening up just a bit from the Edens to Damon. Inbound Eisenhower half hour as you get from 390 into the post office, and the outbound side slows central to 5th Avenue. That is heavy from a gapers delay from an earlier crash. Inbound Edens up to 25 minutes. It is improving though. 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan in 18, 95th into downtown. On the tollways, just delays northbound Tri-State. The other tollways are clear. Traffic is sponsored by Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blind shades and shutters to satisfied customers across the country. With 20,000 five-star reviews and an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now check your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Breezy, humid day, clouds and some sun, a morning thunder shower, and then an afternoon thunderstorm, high 84. Partly cloudy, humid, strong thunderstorm tonight, low 70. Sun patchy clouds, very nice day tomorrow, the high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Open mic! Open mic Friday! Call in now! Open mic Friday!
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It is that time of the week and the morning. Open Mic Friday, taking your calls with comments, compliments, criticisms, concerns, general crack pottery. We'll take it all. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And
do you want to start?
Well, I'm just thinking a little bit more about the Riz, if I could.
Oh, your lack of Riz. You should have a T-shirt. Hashtag lack of Riz.
You know, I realize that's why I'm not on TV. I don't have the charisma of a Brian Stelter.
Oh.
You know, I don't have that. I don't that sort of that latent sex appeal that manifests itself when you're in his presence.
Yeah, he's oozing sex appeal.
Same reason I lost the campaign I ran for governor. I don't have the Riz like a Asa Hutchinson, like a Chris Christie. I don't have that. You're just animal magnetism that draws people in, even though I'm not traditionally handsome like those gentlemen.
Yeah.
So that's why. Yeah, no, it was an eye-opening column for me. Really a life changer. So I appreciate that.
Real quick before I forget, it's my dad's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, I think he's 83.
And
might be 84, and he's shooting in the 70s.
I was going to say he does better than shoot his age. He's below his age, which is impressive.
So happy birthday, Pops.
All right.
You should go golfing with him.
Play Bull Valley.
I know.
He's the only guy I know who can eat that course up.
You too, seriously, because he plays ready golf.
Yeah.
You could plow through 18 holes, he and I did, in 2 hours and 10 minutes once.
Yeah, sure.
And it was the best day ever. Like, just keep going. You ready? Go.
Does he? What tees does he play from?
Not mine.
The regular men's tees, or is he like the senior tees?
I think senior tees. Okay. What color is that? Every course is different.
Yeah, but you know, you get the gist of it. All right, yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, good. What do you do? What are you getting him for his 83rd?
Around at Bull Valley.
No, what am I getting him? That is, yeah, right. That's from both of us. Yeah,
it's from the show.
Right, it's from both of us.
Hey, Mike's got too.
Only one of us is paying, but it is from both of us. No, that's going to be nice. All right.
What did you want to get off your chest?
Oh,
what did you want to say?
I had this tribute to the unvaxxed. Yeah,
because I was telling you during the break that I have a really good friend, and she said I could say this story on the air where she refused to get vaccinated, never even thought about it, vaccinating her or her 2 daughters. They called her a murderess,
right?
And said, "You're the reason why my grandma died, and you're the reason why elderly people are dying." Never even met the grandma. Was never even near that grandma. Was not near grandma's. Never went to a nursing home. I mean, that's how sick our society has become. And I'm vaccinated, but I was very open-minded. If you didn't want to get vaxxed, I wasn't going to treat you any differently, ever. But we're open-minded.
Well, here's
And
what
people on the left are very close-minded if it's their way or the highway, but also, too, it's hard to convince people that they have been fooled for 3 years because they were told by our government that if you get vaccinated, you're not going to get it or spread it, and that was a lie.
Well, it's not just the fool. It's so hard for people to say, I behaved badly. I was not a good person.
Right.
And
that's
that's really
Bingo.
what has to be said. I mean, this was the big guy, Mr. 10%, President Biden, in September of 2021, you'll recall.
My message to unvaccinated Americans is this. What more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us. Get vaccinated.
Oh, my God, I like that.
Well, the sotto voce is always the kicker. Well, this tribute that was posted on Twitter by the Vigilant Fox, its author is unknown. I thought this was pretty good. Maybe a little over the top, but pretty good. This is from, again, unknown author. Even if I were pollinated and fully vaccinated, I would admire the unvaccinated for withstanding the greatest pressure I've ever seen, even from partners, parents, children, friends, colleagues, and doctors. People who are capable of such personality, courage, and critical ability are undoubtedly the best of humanity. They are everywhere in all ages, levels of education, states, and ideas. They are a special kind. They are the soldiers that every army of light wants to have in its ranks. They are the parents that every child wants to have and the children that every parent dreams of having. They are beings above the average of their societies. They are the essence of the people who have built all cultures and conquered horizons. They are there next to you, Amy. They look normal,
Dan.
but they're superheroes. They did what others could not. They were the tree that withstood the hurricane of insults, discrimination, and social exclusion, and they did it because they thought they were alone, and they believed they were the only ones. Banned from their families at Christmas tables.
Yep.
They never saw anything so cruel. They lost their jobs, let their careers sink, had no more money, but they didn't care. They suffered immeasurable discrimination, denunciation, betrayal, and humiliation, but they kept going. Never before in humanity has there been such a casting. Now we know who we are the best on. Now we know who are the best on planet Earth. Women, men, young and old, rich and poor, of all races or religions, the unvaccinated, the chosen of the invisible ark, the only ones who managed to resist when everything collapsed. That's you. You pass an unimaginable test that many of the toughest Marines, commandos, Green Berets, astronauts, and geniuses could not withstand. You are made of the stuff of the greatest who ever lived, those heroes born among ordinary men who glow at night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Proft.
I didn't write.
But
I wish I would have wrote that for myself.
But this is about people like you, you know?
Yeah, please,
I mean,
I'm
control
not
myself.
I'm not a hero. I mean, unless you would like to call me that. No, I'm kidding. It's over the top,
great.
but I do
It's not that over the
appreciate
top.
the real point here is if people just like that what we were talking about before, the Howard Rourkes of the world. It's not to be contrarian for its own sake. It's to be skeptical and inquisitive and apply the brains that God gave you to process things. Ask questions, and then ask more questions of the people who refuse to answer questions. So anyway, all right,
Okay,
that's
can I-
mine. Yes, please.
Your head. I mean, we're having such a good day. I don't know if I should do this to you, but I have.
Well, I found out I didn't have the Riz last night. I'm still reeling from it, but go ahead.
Last weekend was Lollapalooza, and I just want all of you to hear this in case you didn't, because many of you haven't. This is our mayor, who is a child. It's as if he was never popular in his life, and now people want to see him. Because a reporter asked him, "Are you going to go to Lollapalooza?"
Do you plan to attend?
All right. So I do need seriously to spend a little bit more time with my family. I do. School starts in a few weeks, but I hear that there are some people who want to meet me. I mean, because here's the thing, though. It's like within your first 12 weeks, it's like Dennis Rodman, it's Andre Dawson, Beyonce is saying hello to me. It did make me blush a little bit. So now, I'm becoming popular because other major stars are saying, like, what's going on in Chicago, that people are excited about it. So, I'll spend a little time there, but, this weekend, my team has worked very hard. I don't want to tell anyone, but, I might be able to go to an amusement park this weekend and celebrate with my family.
You have to put your microphone on so people can hear you.
And then he stuck his tongue out while he's talking about, I'm pretty popular now. And we went, at least act like you've been here before, please.
Well, he hasn't been here before.
I know, and it's showing.
Take your calls.
Thank you for letting me get into that.
I
chose him over Utah Governor Spencer Cox. I don't keep getting his name.
Steve on the northwest side.
Hi. Hey, listen, how long do you think it'll take the Democratic Party to brand Misha Maynor as a white supremacist?
Exactly.
Having said it, a couple quick stories about the Republican Party and their relationship with the black community. Like, I had a guy that worked for me in Chicago, solid dude, married, raised 4 kids, investor, really a sharp guy. He's just like the rest of us, except he's a little darker. His skin color's a little darker. But I asked him one time, he wants to vote Republican, and he says, but I can't, because if my family ever found out, meaning his parents and his grandparents, they would disown him. One time I called John Anthony up on one of his Saturday afternoon radio shows, and I asked him this question. If the Republican Party, you were talking about the governorship, if the Republican Party were to pick a candidate that gave the promise to the black community everything they thought they want or might want in the future, would the black community vote for that candidate? And John Anthony and his guest, who was another black police officer in Illinois, said no. With an R preceding their name, the black community will never vote for that candidate. It's got to have the T. So there you go.
Thanks for the call. Never's a long time, but there is a long road to hoe. There's no question. Eduardo in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Yeah. Eduardo's relocated.
From Midway.
Oh, yeah. What's taking Amy so long? But real quickly, I got your previous caller's right. The Republican Party needs to get the African-American vote. I mean, they're okay on the Latino vote, and young people who are always on social media. But on the Ecuadorian presidential, they whacked the guy because he's anti-cartel,
right.
Mr. Elliot Ness. We need to physically grab Obrador in Mexico and Maduro in Venezuela. If we do a military operation, we need to get those two out of there.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Eduardo. I don't know if we were going to be in the business of taking out heads of state, but he's right about the assassination of Fernando Villavicencio, this presidential candidate in Ecuador.
A conservative, former journalist, yeah.
Yeah, and he was openly attacking political corruption in Ecuador, and so much of it driven by the drug cartels. There's no question. And it also speaks to, if you want to connect dots, and the Wall Street Journal actually had a good editorial about this, the demand for drugs in this country. That's what fills the coffers of the cartels, and that's what allows them to buy off or kill off politicians in countries like Ecuador. So, the drug culture in this country that's now being celebrated and with the push for legalization and so forth beyond marijuana. Maybe a stop, look, and listen about that. Kevin in Austin, Texas.
Hey, Dan, Amy, good morning. I want to thank you. I heard that the Oliver Anthony song that you put on.
Yeah.
I heard that last night, and I was like, oh, my gosh, that powerful.
Really good.
And it just blew me away. But a couple comments as I was listening. The Riz sounds like something you might catch if you're a Tinder encounter.
I wish I could catch the Riz. I wish it was communicable. I don't have it.
I mean, it sounds
like it your way.
Yeah, of course. Amy's got.
Because I've got the Riz.
Yeah.
I got the thumb Riz.
And then one other thing, there is a black conservative or a black Republican in Chicago. This guy's name's Devin Jones.
Yeah, and I think there's more than one. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah. That's not the.
So,
well, yeah, right. I know.
But
I know all of them just about. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I know you do. I don't know if the listeners do. But I just, what efforts can be made to help Chicagoland conservatives? I mean, that's what I was thinking about that song is to get people involved. Because what was it, 2 years ago or a year ago when the
the lockdown was going on. Everybody's excited. There are all these groups getting involved because the local sewer systems and what they were doing. But it sounds like a lot of that energy has died.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. Sharon, Palos Heights.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Dan and Amy. I wanted to tell you we are not vaccinated. My husband and I are not vaccinated, and we donate blood as every 3 months or so. And the last time that we went to donate blood, my husband asked the nurse there, have there been requests for unvaccinated blood, recipients of it? And she said, well, yeah, but more often is the question is people are wanting unvaccinated blood for sperm donors. That's been the request.
Oh, interesting. All right, thanks for the call, Sharon. Appreciate it. Ralph in Rantoul.
Good morning, Dan. Dan, I'm offering that I just graduated a client, so I've got some space. I'm offering to help you with your charisma. My last client was successfully able to move out of his mom's basement. I got him to get rid of all of his Velcro closure footwear, and he demanded a raise, saying that look, he can make more than one drink in Dunkin' Donuts, and he should get a merit increase. Right now, I'm having him work on his charm by listening to Sean Thompson rant.
Yeah.
Oh, and,
God. Good play.
But it's all working, Dan. It's working, and maybe we should talk.
All right. Thanks for the call, Ralph, and the offer. Hey, can you reverse the funnyectomy that Amy got?
Hey.
At birth? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Yeah.
Bye. Bye, Felicia.
Mike, Melrose Park.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Don't worry about it. I, too, have no Riz, and I wear it proudly.
All right.
But the comment I wanted to make, you guys were talking earlier in the week about the central bank currency and stuff, and I can't see that ever going anywhere, because how are politicians going to get paid off? How are you going to pay the alderman to get the sidewalk fixed in front of your house, or the pothole, or how's Dick Durbin's wife going to pay off another senator or a representative to vote her way? They can't do it.
Well,
cash.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Well, it doesn't have to be. There's supposition that if the big guy and baby boy Hunter were indeed bribed by that Burisma executive / Ukrainian oligarch, that maybe the payments came in the form of Bitcoin that's untraceable. So yeah, you can still. I mean, in point of fact, if it's central digitalized currency, I mean, there perhaps, but I mean, you can manipulate who you track and who you don't. But then you also have these black market. Under this idea of a government-backed digital currency, you would have these black market currencies potentially as well. So don't worry. Water is money is like water. It always finds a level, and it always finds its way into politicians' pockets. So, Rick in Downers Grove.
Hey, good morning, Dan, Amy. Hey, I'm calling in regards to the women's soccer team, but you were talking about the vaccinations a few minutes earlier, and all I had to hear was that the pharmaceutical, first off, it's experimental. The pharmaceutical companies are immune from prosecution for bad side effects, and then you ask them, well, what are the side effects? I don't know. So I was like, man, that's all I have to hear. I think I'll take a pass. So anybody who took it, I got to question their powers of reason. But anyhow, I called them in regards to the women's soccer team and, their embarrassment. But the one giant plus in all that, at least it wasn't in a sporting event. It was soccer, and that's like losing a pie eating contest. Nobody really cares.
All right, Rick. Frank, Arlington Heights.
Hey, good morning. I want to talk on the last Open Mic Friday here before school starts about Snow White, and I think that this will explain some of the problems with our society. Snow White, when you guys think of Snow White, when we think of her, we think of probably the cartoon. Am I right? That's your first image that comes to mind?
Yeah.
The cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a visual, representation of her. But the original Snow White is a really horrifying story that was an oral tradition originally. that was told to people from medieval times on. And the vision you got in your mind back then, as under an oral tradition, would have been, how well the bard did the story and so forth, and the gesticulations that he or she would make. And then when the Grimm brothers wrote the story down and compiled all their different things, you now had a written version. And so your vision of Snow White was privatized because you read it. So you would have a different vision than I would if you read the Grimm brothers story. We'd remember generally the same things, but we'd have different visions in our own mind. And now everything is visualized. So it's more common. And, I think that explains a lot of the lack of intellectual vigor in our society.
Lack of imagination.
Lack of imagination. With the Joe Biden thing with the vaccine, I wonder with the people he was talking to, how many of them actually read a book? You and I, we privatize information. We read books. So many people don't read books. I was just at the beach last week. I think I was only one of 3 people who actually had a book there.
You were at the beach in Arlington Heights? Where's that?
No, in Hilton Head.
Lake Arlington.
Oh, it must be nice. Hilton Head. Yeah, the teacher's salary.
Teacher's life, yeah, no doubt.
Did you drive or fly? Mm-hmm.
Private.
That'll
He
stay
flew
alive.
private.
Yes.
And more time to read.
No.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
Privatized information is what it is. Private. I mean, it's so like how many of the people that Joe Biden was talking to who didn't do the vaccine, I wonder if they did a study on how many of them actually had read a book within the last year.
Yeah.
And my guess is the people who didn't do it read more books than, I'm just saying. I wonder what that study would show. So.
Yeah, imagination and, intellectual curiosity. Thanks for the call, Frank. Chuck in Delavan, also
how you
superhero.
doing? I wanted to thank your guest, WeTheFemale.net. That was the name of my garage band in high school. Hey, I want everybody to head up here next week. I want to give you a heads up. 16th to the 20th, Venetian Fest. Book your rooms, and when you come, don't forget to feed your meters. The meter maids, even though some are guys, they're ruthless, like in Lake Geneva, $50 ticket really makes you want to come back.
What do you feed the meters with? Cheese curds?
No, it's credit cards only. Credit cards only.
Nothing?
Yep.
All right.
Have a great week.
Thanks, Chuck.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready for the next step, visit surroundchicago.com right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Visit surroundchicago.com today.
Okay, I just did it. I think I have some balance of nature in my teeth. I love it. 6 capsules. I crack them open in warm water, stir it up, and voila, I'm ready to go. I have a lot more energy. If I miss taking it, I notice it. That's why it's real food, real nutrition. And get the nutrition your body needs. It's really important to eat a well-balanced diet, which we're not doing on our own. And when you give your body the best fuel, you have more energy, you're stronger, you think more quickly. So the number to call is 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or simply online at balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
A little promo for my golf club.
Yeah.
BMW is here, top 50 golfers in the world. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Just played Olympia Fields yesterday. Place looks immaculate. It's going to be a good time. So BMW next weekend, top 50 golfers in the world.
Okay.
All right.
And be nice to me on Monday because I'm dropping Eli off of college.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be you're going to be an emotional mess. It's going to be a lot of tears. Oh boy.
I'll try to suck it up, and other women have been here before, so that's my inspiration. All right, have a wonderful weekend. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Trump lawyers are back in court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, for a hearing about to start in the third criminal case against the former president over his attempts to overturn the 2020 election. Fox's David Spunt is there.